Welcome back to LaVell Edwards Stadium, Provo, Utah, getting set for kickoff. BYU hosting Utah State. You know, it's another rivalry game, and our Thursday night football crew, we have been lucky since week one. We've gone all over the country, and the theme has been rivalries. You know, by now, week one, it was the good one, the backyard brawl between West Virginia and Pitt. That one in Pittsburgh took a couple of weeks off. Then we had another rivalry game. They played for the Black Diamond Trophy. Virginia Tech in West Virginia out there in Blacksburg, Virginia. Then we took Riddick's private jet west, and we are here for BYU, Utah State in the old wagon wheel. Tonight, BYU getting one of their weapons back. Let's go down to Harry Lyles.
Yeah, Matt, when we talked to Kalani Sitake earlier this week, he said while Jaron Hall's been very good this season, he can be better, and part of that is because of one guy that they're getting back tonight, Gunnar Romney. When we talked to offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick, he said he's got fresh legs. They were just waiting for him to get cleared. He said he's going to be a big factor in the deep passing game. And when we asked Gunnar about his speed, he said he's running on the faster end of a 4.4. You're going to see that speed tonight.
Harry, thank you. Perhaps one of the most impressive things about Jaron Hall this season. He's done it without a full complement of Puka Nacua, who will not go tonight, and Gunnar Romney, who will play tonight. It looks good outside, mostly cloudy, 80 degrees to this point. We've avoided any precipitation. Sit back, relax, enjoy one of the more picturesque settings in all of college football. You can bet Bob Ross would love to paint a happy little cloud here tonight. BYU's won the toss. They will defer. It's going to be Utah State. We're underway. So, Lewis, here we go. The start for Cooper Laga. It was announced earlier that Logan Bonner, the regular starting quarterback, not in. It's going to be Cooper's show tonight.
Yeah, you know, it'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy offensive coordinator Anthony Tucker employs tonight. He said to us, we need to get the run game going. We can't survive just throwing the football all over the yard. So do they try and get this run game going for young Cooper Laga, or do they just turn him loose? Because I'm just telling you, watch his bowl game from last year. I know you don't have time right now, but this kid can spin it, and he can spin it all over the yard. Let's see what they let him do.
A six-time state champion, 2 in football, threw the javelin, and 2 in wrestling, so he's an athlete, and he gets the start for Utah State tonight. Designed run for Lagan, first down off the left side. And Lewis, how's that for your starting quarterback? We're going to run you right out of the gate, and a gain of 6 brought down by John Nelson.
Yeah, I think for Utah State, it's important that they just have some balance, meaning they just don't run it, they just don't throw it. Go ahead and get his feet wet early. Let him take a little bit of a hit.
All right, and his helmet got knocked off, Lewis, so Levi Williams now the quarterback. So Laga, one play, helmet off. Levi Williams now in the game, just like they drew it up.
We'll shake the cobwebs right out immediately.
Up the middle, that's Calvin Tyler, the leading rusher from a year ago back. It's going to be 3rd and inches, and Laga right back in after the chin strap's back on.
Well, Anthony Tucker, he told us the truth. He said, look, we need to run the football. We have to be able to establish it, especially considering the experience they have on the offensive line. And for BYU, this is what you don't want. This is what Baylor did to him. This is exactly what Wyoming did to him. Came out and started running the football on him. Let's see what happens here on 3rd and short.
Early 3rd down, snap a little off. Laga's going to take it and move the chains for Utah State. Keenan Peely on the tackle.
You have a young quarterback in here making his first career start. Just let him carry the football. Let him get a little bit, get his feet wet. Let him settle his pads. It's just a nice job right now of using some tempo, running the football, settling this offense in.
Off the left side, space for Calvin Tyler in a big chunk game there. Gain of 17. Micah Harper on the tackle, and a good start for Utah State.
Well, this is exactly what Kalani Sitake did not want to see happen to his defense. You don't want to start slow. It was something that they emphasized all week long. Come out, fast start, get off the field.
And an empty backfield there, right back to Tyler. So the tempo getting Lagan a little bit of a rhythm.
What you're seeing is the offensive line here in these gap schemes where you just have pullers, you have down blocks, and they're just getting outside, kicking outside force defenders out, and then getting the ball north and south. BYU is not matching the physicality up to this point.
So in BYU territory, Laga looks to throw, pulled it down, chased immediately in a nice open field tackle. That was Max Tooley. They're good to have him back. He's all over the field.
Look, Max Tooley is someone who I asked them about in our production meetings. I said, just tell me a little bit about Max Tooley. And they said, hey, look, this guy is wired really exactly how you want a linebacker to be wired. He is going to fly to the football. He is physical. You will see him making plays all over the place. You see him, he gets shot out of a cannon here, coming inside out on Laga. Keep an eye on number 31. I promise you'll have double-digit tackles tonight.
3rd and long, trips bottom of your screen. Laga time, winds up and throws, and a good completion. That Brian Cobb's another first down for the Aggies.
That's a nice job by the Maryland transfer, Brian Cobbs, of just running a nice little curl route against that zone coverage, finding his soft spot. Cooper Laga puts it on him, moving the chains again.
Vaughn up the middle. Tell you what, Utah State getting yards per play. That a gain of 7.
The line of scrimmage. Matt, they're winning the line of scrimmage. They have a veteran offensive line right now running behind the young freshman at right guard.
That's Cobbs again, tackled on the play by Caleb Hayes. And Lewis, you had brought up that last week BYU, you had talked about the line of scrimmage against Wyoming, and an opportunity was there perhaps for this Utah State offensive line.
Yeah, look, both Wyoming and Baylor really took it to BYU, and they really did win the battle on the line of scrimmage. There was something, again, that Coach Sataki said it was not acceptable. They wanted to come out and try and establish the line of scrimmage, both on offense and on defense. Get a 3 and out on defense. Get some first downs on offense. But right now, look, Utah State has said, don't pay attention to our record. And look, we've watched the tape. We know that turnovers and penalties are what have been killing this football team, not necessarily talent, and it's showing up right here.
Play just off with 1 second on the play clock, and it's Tyler again. He's had success on this opening drive, and a gain of 5 brought down by Caden Hawes, and a flag on the play. Our official tonight, Mountain West crew, Christian Watson, the official. And we'll wait for the call, Lewis, but penalties have been killing Utah State throughout the early part of the season.
Look, right now, if you're Blake Anderson, you have to be happy.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 92. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down. Number 4 may remain in the game.
So that's on Tyler Batty, who was back from injury a week ago, and you see him push his head down there. That's just an undisciplined play in a rivalry game earlier that got caught.
No, that's not really undisciplined, Matt. What that is frustration. A football team is taking the ball and they're jamming it down your throat on the opening drive in a rivalry game. A team that's 1-3, you're 3-1. You're figuring, look, we need to go ahead and get this game, and we need to go ahead and establish our tempo, but we're not able to do it. That's frustration because you know you're getting whipped right now early in the game.
What an opportunity for Utah State. Laga, time, rolls out, keeps his eyes in the end zone, throws it, nearly intercepted. Caleb Hayes had it in his hands, intended for Brian Cobbs, and Laga got away with one.
Look, if you're BYU, that's something they emphasize as well. We need to turn the football over more. We talked to Caleb Hayes in our production meetings, and he said himself, look, I need to come up with some interceptions. I need to go ahead and pick this ball off and give our offense more opportunities. And if you're Blake Anderson, you're going, please, let's not start that. Let's not start turning the football over when we've had a beautiful opening drive here on the road.
Logan Bonner, the injured starting quarterback, 8 interceptions on the year. Designed run for Laga, gets a block to the left side, into the end zone. And what about Utah State? The Aggies go right down the field and score early. Cooper Laga takes his team. What a drive that was. 12 plays, 75 yards. Lewis, Aggies came to play.
Look, Cooper Laga is a heck of an athlete, and I think Amon Hanneman, the strong safety, just found out just how good of an athlete he is. You see him here just get stiff-armed. He's not able to make the tackle on the perimeter. If you're Kalani Sitake right now, you're going to have to gather your football team on the sideline and say, this is exactly what we didn't want. We're going to have to snap out of this because Utah State came to play. And right now, they are using Cooper Laga as a spark for their season early on in this football game.
Offense, number 59. 5-yard penalty. Return to try.
I'd mentioned penalties for Utah State. 11 penalties at least in each of the last 3 games, moves the extra point back. Something Blake Anderson, their head coach, said we have got to clean up. So Connor Cole's on for the extra point attempt. And it is good. Isn't that what you love about rivalries? Utah State, something around a 24.5-point underdog. They take the backup quarterback. They take the opening kick, 75 yards. Utah State grabs the early lead on the road, 7-0 over BYU.
You want to know how you settle down a young quarterback making his first start? You do some quarterback designed runs. Here you're going to see a gap scheme. Pull the guard, pull the offside the tight end off the ball, and you just let Cooper Legas go to work. And then he's one-on-one with the safety. You see he gets the perfect stiff arm. I mean, look, this is a nice game plan by offensive coordinator Anthony Tucker to settle down his young quarterback, not ask him to do too much, but let him use his athleticism. You couldn't ask for a better start if you're Utah State.
So Hobbs Nyberg going to return the kick deep in his own end zone, has spot to the right. He's going to take it just shy of the 35-yard line. So a nice return for Hobbs Nyberg, tackled by Xavier Steele, and that's going to give his star quarterback, Jaren Hall, and that Cougars offense some good field position.
Look, I think it's important, Matt, here for BYU to answer quickly. They didn't have the fast start that Coach Satake wanted from the defense. I think for Jaren Hall, here's your time now. You're the unquestioned leader of this football team. A highly, highly touted prospect at the quarterback position, and rightfully so. You need to come out and put your stamp on this game right away. Right away.
And Gunnar Romney back. Wouldn't be surprised if they got him involved right away. Hall time, taking a shot. That's Gunnar. Welcome back, Gunnar Romney. You want to get your top receiver involved early. How's that? 34 yards.
Well, this is a young man. For his career, he's averaging just about 16 yards per reception. You see the great release off the line of scrimmage. And there's that low 4.4 speed. I can't wait to see what this young man runs officially on the clock. He was pumped for this game. Those are the fresh legs that you're talking about. And that's how you put it on the money, Jaren Hall, with one of his best, most productive targets.
Michael Onyanwu, he is the injured player for Utah State on the coverage. But when we met with Gunnar yesterday, Lewis, you could hear it in his voice, you could see it in his eyes. Even when Jaren came in, they're happy to have his #1 target back as the trainers attend to Onyanwu.
Look, all year long, Jaren Hall has not been able to work with a full complement of wide receivers. He just hoped Onyanwu was okay.
You know, last week, Lewis, Puka played. Puka Nacua was injured, nursing the ankle, comes back, plays, gets re-injured, not in the game tonight.
And I tell you, Chase Roberts also is not playing tonight, who also had a nice game, you know, who's starting to develop for them. They have a kid named Braden Cosper, who looks very good also. You'll see him playing tonight, who's got great route running skills, real good hands. They've got good depth.
Andre Grayson in now for Utah State. Quick throw. That's Keanu Hill. Keanu Hill space. What an answer by the Cougars. Touchdown BYU. 2 plays, net for 31 yards. Jaren Hall and the Cougars answer right back.
That is absolutely how you answer. Keanu Hill had his best game of his career last week against Wyoming, where he had 5 for 166. Now you see here, just takes a quick little hitch route, turns it back inside, gets his foot around, and gets vertical. You see the great block by Braden Cosper downfield. Just brings him the last 5 to 10 yards. That's the kind of answer that you're looking for if you're BYU. Now you got to settle down on defense because Utah State came to play.
Jake Oldroyd's extra point is good. And that old wagon wheel, it's off and running. Jaren Hall, 2 completions, both 30-plus yards. We've got an early shootout here at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Keanu Hill ties the game.
They say, not all those who wander are lost. Your pet would now agree. Because with Tractive, you can track your pet's live GPS location, no matter where they wander. Turn on live mode and you'll get location updates every 2 to 3 seconds. Set safe zones as well as no-go zones your dog should avoid. You'll get a quick alert when they leave or enter one of them. Keep track of your tail-wagging best friend with Tractive. Visit Tractive.com and save 25% off with the code Tractive25.
Lewis Riddick, Matt Berry alongside. You know, Kalani Sitake said, Lewis, we have got to get this offense off to a quick start. Can't get any quicker than this.
Yeah, look, this is just Jaren Hall just using his playmakers the way that they deserve to be used. And here you're going to see he's just going to get Keanu Hill on a little hitch route. Just get in the ball now, just turn upfield and become a runner. But look at Braden Cosper downfield, number 20. He had his first career TD last week against Wyoming. Look at him make the block that springs Hill for the final 5 yards of the touchdown. That's the kind of teamwork that BYU is all about, that this wide receiver core is all about. These young wide receivers have stepped up in the absence of Gunnar Romney and Puka Nacua not playing all year long with consistency. And that's why you see Jaren Hall with that big smile on his face on the sideline, and he's saying, hey, look, that's what we're talking about, man. That's the kind of answer we needed.
Tale of 2 drives. Utah State, 12 plays, 75 yards and 4:21. BYU, 2 plays, 65 yards, 43 seconds. But good start for Cooper Laga, the starter tonight. With Logan Bonner out, he took his team right down the field.
When you think about the athlete that Cooper Laga is, I mean, look, we were told this is a guy who was a 2-time state champion in the javelin and track and field, a 2-time state champion in wrestling. Oh, and he's a quarterback. So as you saw on these quarterback design runs, this is not your typical quarterback who just wants to stand back there and not get touched. He will get down and dirty, and he hasn't even really shown you his arm yet. So I have a feeling we're in for a nice football game, especially if Utah State can continue to run the football like they ran on their first drive.
It's going to be a flag on the play, pre-snap.
False start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Makes first down.
That's Cole Moats. He moved into the right tackle role tonight. Jacob South moving to left tackle because Alfred Edwards, the normal starting left tackle for the Aggies, is out.
Penalties, right? Penalties and turnovers. Penalties and turnovers. Exactly, Matt, what Blake Anderson said. Or we cannot afford to continue to do that if we want to get this on the right track.
1st and 15. That's Calvin Tyler going nowhere. That's Max Tooley again.
There he is.
Already active, loss of 1.
Look, that's exactly the kind of play they expect him to make. You got to be hard on the edge. Make sure that you set a hard edge against the outside zone running game. Do not let it get outside of you. Bend your knees, see what you're hitting, keep your head up, put your pads on him. Doesn't get any better than that for Max Tooley.
Injury has also been an issue, really, for both of these teams. Calvin Tyler, the ball carrier, here he's down. Tyler, I said it earlier, the leading rusher coming back. This is an offense, Lewis, that lost so much of their weaponry from a year ago. They at least got their leading rusher back. They cannot afford to lose him.
Yeah, look, their top 3 receivers from last year in terms of production are gone. And they just need, look, they need to have all their weapons at their disposal if they're going to be able to compete in a shootout. Well, you can see the top of the helmet of Max Tooley catches Tyler right underneath the chin.
Surprised that's not having a look for targeting.
Yeah, that's a very physical hit. Couldn't see that live, have to see it happen exactly like that, but you can see the Tooley's as physical as they come, and you see the head goes down, he catches him underneath the chin, the head kind of goes sideways on Tyler.
And again, another flag pre-snap. Laga going to take a shot downfield. It's going to fall incomplete. Intended for Cobbs. Caleb Hayes on the coverage.
Offside. Defense, number 92. 5-yard penalty. Main second down.
So the 5 yards comes right back. That on Tyler Batty, who's already had a penalty tonight. I want to bring in Matt Austin off the replay of the hit we just showed on Max Tooley. Matt, are you surprised that didn't get a look for targeting?
Yes, I am, because just like Lewis said, he did lower his head, look like he made good contact with the crown of the helmet. I think it was worth taking a look at.
So that Laga on the carry. And a gain of 2. And look, Lewis, we talk about the safety of the player in this day and age. They can get too aggressive with targeting penalties, but that at least seemed to be one they would at least take a look at.
Yeah, look, and I said you got to keep your head up and see what you're hitting in there. Tully, when you see it replayed, you see his head and his helmet comes down. That's not safe for him. That's not safe for the ball carrier. Tully's a very aggressive player, but that's something right there that could have easily been called. He could be out of this football game.
All for naught now, 3rd and long. Lagod's going to get intercepted, picked off. It's Tully. Max Tully to the end zone. BYU touchdown.
Max Tully is just a flat-out playmaker, Matt. I mean, he's a guy who right now is leading tackler on the team. He had a pick 6 against US South Florida earlier in the season. You see again him just reading the eyes of Cooper Legod. Cooper stares down the dig route by Justin McGriff. And that's just an easy read. You just got to catch the football and then turn into a running back. But this is a guy who they need on this football team to make big plays. He gets to run and the pass. They send him on blitzes. He can do it all. That's how you come through for your team.
John Nelson tips the pass at the line of scrimmage. 2 TDs in 1:21 for BYU. So Utah State came into the game. Penalties, can't have them. Turnovers, can't have them. Max Tully is there, and we're rocking like a wagon wheel early. 14-7 BYU.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football is brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Order a grilled spicy deluxe sandwich today. Available for a limited time.
LaBelle Edwards Stadium here in Provo. Said it at the open. If you talk about picturesque settings sandwiched in between the Wasatch Mountains, 1984 national champions, a great football tradition here at BYU. Their Cougars are up 14-7. Lewis, what'd you see on the pick 6?
Look, it's all about teamwork, right? I mean, it's all about the front, the rush, and the coverage going together. And here you're going to see John Nelson, the defensive end. You're going to see him just trying to execute a bull rush. You know he's not going to get there. Now, just get that right hand up. Tip the football. And if you're Max Tully, you're just reading the eyes of the quarterback. That's how it works beautifully together. The defensive end can't get there on the rush, but he knows to get his hand up, create some havoc in the throwing lanes. Maybe you'll get a tip. And tips and overthrows, every defender is taught when there's tips and overthrows, you got to have them. You got to have them. That's Max Tully's second pick 6. Off to a good start.
It was Tully time in the end zone. As BYU.
I was waiting for that.
Thank you.
Good job.
Through 3 games, you know me already.
You know it.
1st and 25. Robert Briggs in the ballgame. It's a play fake to him. He's going to take a shot deep. And the guy had Terrell Vaughn, Jacob Robinson on the coverage. Had a good one-on-one shot, couldn't land it.
It's a good job by Robinson of just staying on that upfield shoulder, playing outside leverage. Now stay high on that upfield shoulder, come up over the top and swat the ball away. That's how you play top down, outside leverage, man-to-man coverage and not get beat deep. You're going to have to win these one-on-one battles against Utah State. With these splits that they have, every coverage turns into basically man-to-man coverage down the field.
So 2nd and 10, that's Briggs off the right side, and a gain of 5 down to Harry.
Guys, after the pick 6, Logan Bonner was one of the first people to come and meet Cooper Legod, and he told him, hey, man, just hang in there. You got this. Stay calm, cool, collected, and you'll get out of it.
And Bonner, 8 interceptions on the year. Not playing, lower leg injury. Legod's gained 3rd and 5. Aggies 2 of 3 early on 3rd downs. Movements, flag, free play over the middle, and a big hit. Terrell Vaughn comes up with it, an acrobatic catch. The gain of 6, almost certainly going to be an offsides on BYU, but a free play for the Aggies.
Offside. Defense, number 55. That penalty declined. 1st down.
So Lorenzo Falatea up front, flagged, declined. Keelan Peely on the big hit. It's going to be a 1st down for the Aggies off the catch of Vaughn.
Yeah, you see here, Utah State Cooper Legas realizes, look, I have a free play here. Defensive line jumps off sides. Now you got a fresh set of downs. Look, to me, looking at this game already, if you're looking at Cooper Legas, I don't think there are any nerves with this young man right now. He understands what's going on. The running game is working.
Well, Lewis, and one step further after throwing the pick six, not even rattled this drive, come out, big third down completion. That was nullified. It would have been nullified with the penalty anyway, but he comes up with it. Now they're driving again after a gain of 5.
And look, if you're sitting here always in 2nd and 5 as an offensive coordinator with a young quarterback making his first start, you go, I'll take that all day long.
How about Briggs showing some quicks? Remember, Calvin Tyler injured. Briggs, the freshman from Belleville High School in Texas, and a gain of 9. Here comes Utah State again.
Well, again, BYU having issues with making sure that their force defenders on the edge against outside runners, setting a hard edge and not letting people get outside.
So tempo for Legas, finds Brian Cobbs there at the sideline and a gain of 5.
The run game issues that they're having are the same run game issues that showed up against Wyoming, that showed up against Baylor, and they're showing up again here tonight.
That's Legas, the keeper. Another nice gain of 3. Peyton Wilgar in the tackle in a 3rd and short.
Utah State doing a nice job of continuing to attack the edges and attack it with tempo. Don't even let BYU get set.
Legas going to keep it. He's going to have the first down. All kinds of space for him. Good lead block on the play by the freshman running back Briggs and a gain of 6.
These quarterback designed runs for Legas, but they are not shying away from him at all. That first drive was not an aberration. You can definitely see what offensive coordinator Anthony Tucker has in store for this young man.
This is a dimension perhaps Bonner didn't give him on the season. 12 carries, 17 yards for Logan Bonner.
And he could, right? Because he's coming off of injury anyway, so he doesn't really have the base underneath him and the health to really do this kind of thing.
So ball spotted at the 35. Briggs, short gain. Tackled on the play by Tyler Batty.
I can just tell you this, when a team is tempoing you and running the football on you, it's double trouble for you because it's obviously much tougher to play the run. It's much more physically taxing, and mentally it just beats you down because when a team just comes right at you and starts exposing your weaknesses that you put on tape for the past 2 weeks and you can't stop it, it is mentally very challenging for an entire 60 minutes.
Play clock under 5. Gets it off. Designed run for Legas. He's able to get out of it, and that is wise football. Tyler Batty had him dead to rights. He bounces off of it, Lewis, and throws it away. That was heady football by the quarterback.
Yeah, I think here you're just seeing the strength and the athleticism that you're talking about with this young man. I think he has the option to be able to go ahead, turn this into a design run or RPO and throw it outside here. Offensive lineman didn't go downfield, so it wasn't going to be an illegal forward pass. If he did decide to throw it, it's good decision-making under pressure by the young quarterback.
11th play of this drive. Utah State 4 of 5 on 3rd down early. Play clock again at 5. Down to 2. Play off. Legas looks deep, can't get it. BYU's defense grabs it. Alden Tofa with the sack. And BYU's defense is going to force the punt.
It's a nice job of tight coverage down the field and then rushing with some discipline inside. You see Tofa, you see it there, fighting to try and stay outside to make sure that the rush lanes stay secure and you don't give him an easy escape. Quarterback has to pull the ball down eventually. They're able to get off the field.
Steven Kotzen lead a punt for the Aggies. Hobbs Nyberg, the nice kick return, is going to fair catch that at the 11-yard line for BYU's offense. Here's our Saturday night football game presented by Capital One. Top 10 ACC matchup in Death Valley. Number 5, Clemson. Number 10, NC State. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit have the call. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, ABC, and the ESPN app. And the Pat McAfee, he's going to host an ESPN2 telecast. All bets are off on that one. Saturday night going to be fun in Death Valley. Good opportunity for Dave Dorn and the Wolfpack to go in there. Hopefully weather with everyone up the eastern seaboard is going to be safe with Hurricane Ian now in a tropical storm. Our thoughts and prayers with everyone in Florida and South Carolina as the weather still rages on. That's Jaren Hall rolling out of the pocket. It's going to be incomplete.
Lucky we didn't get a late hit there on Jaren Hall as he was rolling out trying to execute that 3-level flood that they had to the top of your screen. It looks like a Utah State defender came in there and maybe hit him late.
Byron Vaughns, let's have another look. The transfer from Texas.
Well, maybe not. Only one step and he hit him.
So no penalty, no complete pass, 2nd and 10. Hall pressured, steps on his back foot, and he's nearly picked off by Hunter Reynolds. One of the captains of this defense nearly got his turnover. Now 3rd and long BYU.
An interesting matchup to watch tonight is going to be defensive end Daniel Greshik going up against Blake Freeland at left tackle. We're not going to show the replay here right now, but I'll tell you this, keep an eye on number 9 from Utah State. He can get after it. Look him at the top, on the left side of your screen. Watch him come off the football and get around the corner.
So Hall again out of the pocket, and it's going to be incomplete. BYU's run 5 plays, all 5 of them passes, and a good job by the Utah State defense, Lewis, to come in and force a punt.
Look, defensive coordinator Ephraim Banda, he told us he was excited to play this game because of how active they were up front. He thought that they would be able to get off the ball and pressure the passer if they can get him into some long down and distance situations where they can pin their ears back, and that they could use their athleticism against BYU's offensive line. You saw it right there.
So Ryan Rico to punt from his own end zone. Cooper Jones situated in his own 40. Rico's got space at the 45. Gets a block. Across the 50, that's Cooper Jones. Just inside the 50 for the Aggies, and a penalty flag again on the play. Peyton Wilgar on the tackle, and a return of 4.
Just taking a look at this time of possession here, Matt. Utah State has held the ball for basically 10 minutes. BYU has had the ball less than a minute so far in this first quarter. If that keeps up at that pace, that plays right into the hands of Utah State.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Utah State, number 26. But 10-yard penalty forcing the spot of the foul. First down.
It's Kyrese Rowan for blocking the back. And Lewis, they were starting the ball in midfield. Now they're going to back that up and get a penalty that can kill a drive before it even starts.
Yeah, look, you just have to be smart here. You have to be smart. You know, if you see a guy's numbers on his back, if you see his nameplate, just don't touch him. He's off limits. Those are the kind of things that will just drive Blake Anderson. I mean, it just will make him very, very frustrated with his football team. He expressed to us last night that those are the kind of things that at some point they have to break the habit of doing if they really want to give themselves a chance to compete and win.
A young, inexperienced Aggies team. They lost 23 players from a year ago, but they keep telling us little by little, week to week, even with some of the bad losses, they see a little bit of development. Briggs has to be one of those guys early on, a big hit on the play. That was Ben Bywater, number 2.
Well, if you're Kalani Sitake right now, you are telling your defense, look, they're going after the same type of thing that every other team is going after, the perimeter run game, getting pullers out on the edge, testing our force principles, and see if whether or not we have an answer for it.
And that's Briggs just right up the gut. Nothing special about that. Just good old-fashioned 3-yard, 4-yard football. Talon Alfrey on the tackle, bringing up another 3rd and short. Keeper, nothing. Tooley. What a start to the game from Max Tooley. That's going to be a 4th down and another flag. I saw a shoe fly from somewhere, and I don't know if that got yanked off or what, but Our official, Christian Watson's been busy in this first quarter.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, BYU, number 31 for throwing the shoe. That 15-yard penalty is the first man to run. By rule, automatic first down.
So I mentioned the flying shoe.
First unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
That's courtesy of Max Tooley, who took it and threw it.
Look, if you're Max Tooley, you make a great play. You run through the block of Robert Briggs. You stop Cooper Legal short. You just have to keep your emotions in check here. I mean, this is a guy who, look, he's obviously wired very tight. He's a very physical football player, plays with great effort. You've seen he's making plays all over the football field. Those are the kind of things you just can't afford.
Rivalry game, 91st meeting between these two schools. Tooley out on this play. The give to Briggs off the left side. Again, Briggs space. He's getting to that second level of the defense and a good run on first down at a gain of 8.
Look, if you're offensive coordinator Anthony Tucker, you have watched BYU and how they're defending your perimeter run on these pulling schemes, these G schemes, where you're blocking down on the outside with that man on the line of scrimmage and pulling guards, pulling tight ends, H-backs around the corner, and you're saying they have not changed yet. I mean, look, there's a soft edge once again. You're going to continue to run these kind of schemes until BYU provides an answer for it.
So Batty brings down Laga. And a 3rd and short, another opportunity for BYU's defense. Kind of some drama at the snap, and I don't think Cooper got it. It's going to depend on the spot.
Yeah, it looked like he fumbled it a little bit at the snap to try and get a hold of it because he took a step backwards, where in a 3rd down and short situation, you got to get that ball and get north and south quickly.
So he is marked short, going to bring up a 4th. 4th and inches. John Nelson pushed the pile. Again, the snap a little clunky for Laga. This is a no-brainer. You go for it here, 29-yard line.
I'm not sure if he wasn't just trying to look for a spot to try and get forward for the yardage there. I don't know if the snap was really the problem.
And they got BYU to move on 4th and inches.
Offside. Defense, number 90. 5-yard penalty. Results in the first down.
Joshua is saying that the second penalty on 3rd down that's going to advance the chains for Utah State.
You're just going to make it harder and harder on yourself. If these are the kind of mistakes you're going to continue to make. Every defensive lineman is taught looking at the ball. Don't listen to the cadence of the quarterback. You know, in short yardage situations, they're going to use hard count, voice inflection to try and get you to jump. It's just all about discipline, Matt. It's all about doing what you're taught. Looking at the football, move when it moves.
Laga rolling to his right, just going to throw that one away. Pressure on the play by Tofa.
Nice job of coverage by BYU secondary. Nowhere to go for Cooper Laga. And if you're Cooper, you say, look, I'll throw it away, live to fight another down. We're down here in the high red zone area at the plus 24-yard line. We've been running the football effectively. Let's not take any negative plays. Let's just line up and snap again.
Briggs has been busy, and rightfully so. Another impressive gain by the freshman Robert Briggs. And Lewis, the key when you've got a new starting quarterback, you're an underdog, 3rd and manageable when your team's on offense, and they've provided that for Laga early.
Look, they are running the same plays, with maybe just changing up who the pullers are, but they're attacking in the same way. G-schemed runs, pulling the guards, pulling an H-back, getting out on the perimeter. BYU playing with a soft edge. They're not setting a hard edge and getting the ball turned in. And if you're Utah State, you have no reason to go away from it up to this point.
That is the end of the first quarter.
So clock runs out in the first quarter. It has been entertaining as we battle for the old wagon wheel here in Provo. Utah State comes out and scores first. Here comes Jaren Hall in that offense, and a pick 6 by Max Tooley. Right now, BYU up, end of 1, 14-7. After the first quarter, BYU up 14-7, but those statistics, keep an eye on number of plays for Utah State relative to BYU in time of possession, Lewis.
Yeah, especially if they punch the ball in here and they tie this game up. At some point in time, the physicality with which Utah State is running the football and the number of plays will start to wear on BYU's defense.
Calvin Tyler back in the game for the first time since his injury. 3rd and 2. Laga going to keep it, and he's going to get the first down for the Aggies. Thule also back in the game, and they said
ruling on the field, the runner was down prior to the fumble. First down, Utah State.
All right, so BYU thinks Laga fumbled it. Lewis, what do you think?
Let's see here. I think that ball's coming out.
That ball looks out.
It's coming out.
Utah State best get the playoff, and Kalani's going to call a timeout.
Knee wasn't down, arm wasn't down, hand wasn't down.
The ruling on fumble is under further review.
Let's bring in Matt Austin, our rules analyst. Matt, what did you see?
I agree with the two of you. It looked like the ball was hit out just before the elbow hit the ground, so that should be a fumble. And it all depends on who recovered the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure who recovered it, to be honest with you.
So 25 hopped on it for BYU. Micah Harper's the one that jarred it loose.
Talon Alfrey. Yeah, he did jump on it. You saw immediately the BYU secondary jumping up and pointing in their direction as if they had possession. Yeah, it gets away from him. We may be looking at BYU football here.
What a turn of events this would be for Utah State. That was the 9th play of the drive, a converted first down inside the red zone.
That's a nice job by safety Micah Harper of punching that ball out. You see the safety number 1 right here, Harper. You see his right hand, his right arm hit the football just before Laga hits the ground. You see him jump up because he knew he caused the fumble.
Replay official tonight, Paul Verna. Again, has to be conclusive evidence to overturn the call on the field, which was Laga was down, which would make it a 1st and 10 Utah State.
You know, to me, that looked clear and obvious to me.
I would agree. You can tell by Blake Anderson's reaction to the call.
After further review, the ball came loose prior to the runner's elbow touching the ground. In the immediate recovery, BYU gained possession of the ball. Therefore, by rule, the ball will go over to them. 1st and 10, 12-yard line.
So the 2nd turnover tonight for Utah State. That one costly, happening at the 12-yard line, and they were going to have 1st and 10 at the 12.
Yeah, you're going to see Harper right here, the right hand just hit the football. Laga has it a little bit away from his body. You know that right elbow was what was going to hit the ground first, so naturally you're going to try and brace yourself as a ball carrier, and the ball is going to get away from your body. Prime opportunity for a defensive back that if you have accuracy, you can punch that ball out. That's the kind of turnover that you can produce.
Now remember, last time out, Utah State forced a 3-and-out from Jaren Hall in this BYU offense. Yet to run the ball. Lapini Katoa put the ball on the turf, and Utah State had a defender right on it, but did BYU get it back?
Doesn't look like Lapini really got the football clean.
The fumble recovered by the offense.
What a
from Jaren Hall. Look, you can see right away. You can see how Utah State's defense is creating a lot of penetration at the snap. You can see here, he never really secures it from Jaren Hall at the quarterback running back exchange point. I don't know how Utah State didn't recover.
Daniel Greshik was right there, could not recover. So 2nd and 15. Again, bad starting position for Jaren Hall in that offense. And again, it's Katoa off the left side. Good job by Utah State for no gain. And another 3rd and long as Pokesi Vakauta on the tackle.
Efren Bonda, the defensive coordinator of Utah State, said, look, I like how we match up against this team up front. This is a team that is very, very good at producing TFLs. They're amongst the FBS leaders, amongst the NCAA leaders in terms of creating tackles for loss already this season. They were amongst the best last year in 21 at doing it. And if you're not ready for it, if you're not ready for that style of defensive line play, it can catch you off guard, especially in your run game, because these guys will create so much penetration and mess it all up.
Time for Hall and a big hit. What a stop by the Aggies defense. That is Hunter Reynolds, the transfer from Michigan, and this staff loves that player, and you can see why in a loss of 2.
Hunter Reynolds, the transfer from Michigan. Look, he's 6 foot, 200 pounds, has tremendous speed and range. You just see him drive downhill on this shallow by Gunnar Romney coming across the field. And when you have a straight line break on a wide receiver like that coming across on a shallow route like that, it usually results in a big hit just like that. And let me just tell you, keep your eye on number 27, Hunter Reynolds, tonight. Keep your eye on number 6, Gervin Hall. Both of these safeties are as good as you will see in college football. Great range, great hitting ability.
Rico again out of his own end zone, pressure by Utah State. And a nice return for the Aggies, Cooper Jones. And right now, I know the score says 14-7, but after scoring in 2 plays early, Utah State's defense has stepped up. They're going to get the ball back with good field position when we come back. All right, so there goes my good toss to commercial break. We're going to stay here.
That's all right, man, because you know what? We get to talk a little bit more about how this game is unfolding,
I nailed that, too.
You know, what's interesting is, look, if you look at the stat board that we have up here in the booth, and you didn't see what the score was, you'd be like, yeah, okay, well, I kind of know who's winning this football game. And I'm telling you, if Utah State punches this ball in and they can even this score up, and you look at their time of possession that they've had, the rushing yards that they have, BYU has -5 yard rushing. They have, I mean, basically they've hit big plays, but this defense can't get off the field. They're getting the ball run down their throat. And this is setting up for one of those games that Utah State could take them into the 4th quarter, and then it's up for grabs.
Lagaga to keep it, coming off the fumble. And how about that for confidence in your quarterback? Fumbles it deep in BYU territory. The defense gives you the stop, and they run the quarterback first play out, gain of 6.
Well, look, I mean, what do you have to lose? This young man has shown right now this isn't too big for him. It isn't too big for him. He's meeting the physical challenge of running the football against a team that has some pretty good hitters when you're looking at guys like Max Tooley, and they're not shying away from it.
That's Tyler trying to be patient off the outside. And a gain of 2. Alfrey again the pursuit. And again Lewis a 3rd and short.
This is where if you're BYU, you have to be ready for a quarterback design run. The quarterback powers, the counters, off tackle, trying to get on the perimeter, test your run support principles.
Tyler met at the line of scrimmage. What a great defensive play by Foatea.
Foatea, you see him right here. You see him defeat the block inside. That's a nice job of playing strong gap sound defense, playing with your hands. Big 4th down.
Play clock under 10. Utah State trying to get BYU to jump. And this time the Cougars don't oblige. Timeout, Aggies. Now we have that timeout, but my toss isn't going to be as good. We'll see what they do on 4th down when we come back. So Levi Williams, 16, now in the game for Utah State. Offense back on the field. 4th and inches. Interesting call here with Williams in the game. Designed run for Williams, lowers his shoulder. And by the skin of the inches, Levi Williams comes in to move the chains for Utah State.
Maybe they bring Levi Williams in. BYU thinking maybe they're going to throw, but they just, again, go with quarterback design run. Here they just wedge block it down. Just try and get him to hit the ball off tackle. You see the tight end Brock Lane get a good block on the edge, get some movement, just enough for the first down.
Levi typically the third string quarterback, getting the first down there. Calvin Tyler off the left side and forced out of bounds by Alfrey, and no gain.
See, if you're going to bounce those powers and those counters, come underneath those pullers, make the ball go lateral, then your second and third level defenders in run support, they have to get downhill fast, and that's exactly what Alfrey did right there. That's what they haven't been doing. They haven't been getting the secondary field players downhill. The edges have been soft. They have to start playing that better. That's a start for BYU's defense.
Already 40 plays for Utah State. A shot at the end zone. Has a player. It is caught, but ruled incomplete. That was Justin McGriff. Had his man beat. D'Angelo Mandel on the coverage. Going to bring up third down.
Illegal touching.
McGriff he was pushed out of bounds. Nice job by D'Angelo Mandel.
Let's bring in our rules official, Matt Austin. You see Blake Anderson is running hot. Matt, walk us through this.
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't seen the right view. They called illegal touching, so I'm assuming they have the receiver who touched the ball, that he went out of bounds on his own and came back in.
On field. The Utah State player stepped out of his zone. Therefore, illegal touching. Number 10 in Utah State. The penalty for that foul is lost it down to the previous spot. Third down.
This is something that the BYU coaches were aware of, was the fact that because of these wide splits that Utah State's wide receivers use, sometimes they will go out of bounds on their own and try and take it, use it to their advantage. And usually when you have an offense like this, sometimes if you don't catch them doing it, if they're not forced out of bounds, they're saying here he wasn't forced out of bounds, although you could probably argue that maybe he was. But then it's illegal touching if you go out of bounds on your own.
Yeah, that looked as if McGriff was helped out of bounds.
But this is something to keep an eye on, because when you look at these plus splits here, when you see this wide view and you see how close they are to the boundary, maybe +1, +2 from the sideline, these are the kind of things that can happen.
So Legata throw to the end zone, incomplete. He tried to force that one in there. Jacob Robinson on the coverage, intended for Brian Cobbs, and another penalty on the play. There was some jawing going back and forth.
Here you see Legata trying to hit the post route. It looked like Jacob Robinson may have got there a little bit early. He comes up over the top to make the nice play on Davis.
I know Christian Watson looks like he's had a muscle snack or two.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, Utah State head coach. 15-yard penalty. Remain fourth down.
His arms are going to be busy tonight.
Sportsmanlike conduct call of the game.
And how about that? Blake Anderson, the head coach, told us in the meetings we cannot have penalties. Just got one on his own because he's been barking in their ear. Yeah, since that Justin McGriff illegal touching penalty.
Exactly. You can see it down here on the sideline as the play was going on. He was still getting after him.
Look here at the bottom of your screen, Lewis. You see him just giving it to him.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell he was still not happy at all.
So Connor Cole's now on for a 50-yard attempt. And how about Connor Coles? Splits the uprights And Utah State able to get some points out of a promising drive that was moved back by a couple of penalties. And that mountain air, 50-plus for Connor Coles. It is 14-10 here in the second quarter. BYU still on top.
Kevin and Sam in studio over on the SEC Network. Spencer Rattler to Austin Stogner.
And this is why Austin Stogner came with Spencer Rattler from Oklahoma to catch touchdowns like these.
A game moved up from Saturday, Maddie, due to Hurricane Ian. It's 29-7.
Kevin Connors, thank you. Spencer Rattler trying to get comfortable there with South Carolina. You see Blake Anderson still going to the officials saying, guys, I still don't know what you saw. McGriff did not, on his own accord, go out of bounds. He was helped out.
Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of things you're going to be facing the entire game again because of the plus splits that the Utah State wide receivers use in the construct of their offense. This is the kind of thing that can be up for debate all night long, whether or not the wide receiver goes out of bounds on his own or the DB jams him out of bounds.
Hobbs Nyberg going to have another run at it. Last time he caught a kick return, took it to the 35. This time he's held just past the 15-yard line. Johnny Carter on the tackle. And BYU, their last drive, they had 3 plays. They lost 5 on a run because Katoa fumbled it. They had 0 yards, and then they lost 2 on the pass. Somehow Jaren Hall and this Cougars offense needs to get back in rhythm.
Look, Kalani Sitake said, the head coach said, that this offensive line has not played as good as it's capable of playing yet. Now, does that mean in pass pro? Does it mean in run blocking? Well, regardless of what you mean right now, they need to establish some dominance up front and hold the football a little bit, because otherwise their defense is going to get worn out here in the second half.
Ball spotted on the 17. First down throw for Hall. Quickly releases. That's Cody Epps on the reception, and a gain of 9.
You have a quarterback like Jaren Hall, though, it is just so tempting to put the ball in the air over and over because, look, he's playing next-level football right now. His coaches say it. He says it. People who are watching him say it. This young man is in total control at the line of scrimmage, total control pre-snap, post-snap. It's like he has this sixth sense right now as far as sensing where the rush is, just navigating the pocket and distributing the football with just unbelievable accuracy.
That's just the 9th play of the game for BYU. Here we are 9 minutes in the second quarter. Hall looking to take a shot, and he's brought down. That was MJ Tafisi on the sack and a loss of 9. Hall looking to take a shot downfield, and Tafisi in that rush got to it.
He sure was. He was looking to try and take the deep over route. Maybe he was going to throw it, but then his line of sight got impaired. And then here you see him, he's trying to escape out to the left. And that's just a good job of the Utah State pass rush, staying at it, holding their rush lanes, not letting them get outside the pocket. Tafisi finishes it off.
In Lewis, this place is silent. BYU scored in 2 plays on their opening possession, and here they have it again, 3rd and 9. And they're going to give it to Christopher Brooks off the left side. Aggies are having none of it. And neither are the fans.
Well, here, that play was made by Byron Vaughns, the defensive end. The penetration at the line of scrimmage, again, it's what this defense is known for. The creating tackles for loss because of the penetration that they get. And then you see Nevis just finish it off. Look at the penetration that Vaughns has. I mean, that's just going to make the running back go sideways and go parallel to the line of scrimmage because he can't turn it upfield because he can't find a crease. You see, that's where Vaughns is letting them know. It's going to be a long night. We're here for the full 60 minutes.
The return set up for Cooper Jones. He's going to trot out of bounds at the 42-yard line. Utah State starting to believe. They're down 14-10, but they get the ball back with belief and momentum midway through the second quarter.
ESPN Thursday Night College Football is brought to you by Taco Bell. Vote for this month's Live Más student section on the Taco Bell app.
How about Jordan Love in the 2018 battle for the old wagon wheel? 45-20. Love accounted for 5 touchdowns. BYU's won 2 in a row in this series. 91st meeting between the two. And right now, Utah State, who is better than a 3-touchdown underdog with the ball, at the 43-yard line. And Tyler brought down in the backfield. Micah Harper. Nice play from the secondary. And Calvin Tyler, when he went out with his injury, he hasn't been as effective as Robert Briggs. We haven't seen Briggs back since Tyler's come back. Play fake for Lega. And that's a good job getting out of the pocket, reading the rush. Caught by Brian Cobbs, and a gain of 5.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen Lega have to do too much tonight. Navigate the pocket, keep his eyes down the field. But hey, he looked like a Sunday quarterback right there. Is that something Josh Allen does all the time? Step in, up into the pocket, escape to your right, your dominant hand, keep your eyes down the field, and just make a completion. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, I'm just saying. But those are the kind of things for a young quarterback making his first start. That's what you like to see.
3rd and 3 after they give him a gain of 6. What a great patient job by Tyler to stutter step his feet at the line, find a crease, and get a gain of 6 for a first down.
Matt, I'm telling you, these powers, these G-schemes runs with pullers are just giving BYU fits. They're pulling too, whether it be the backside guard and the tackle, the backside guard, and maybe a H-blocking tight end. And they are kicking out on the fourth player and getting that ball north and south over and over.
Continue to be patient. Play fake to Tyler, again to the outside to Cobbs. And a gain of 6. Lewis, this is just meat and potatoes football. This is it.
It absolutely is. And then now they're going to commit more people to the box. The wide receivers are going to keep their splits nice and wide and turn it into a one-on-one game on the perimeter. And you're just hoping that guys like Brian Cobbs and Nani Davis and Justin McGriff can win the one-on-ones when they get them.
There's Tyler off the left side. You had mentioned the space. There goes Calvin Tyler. And the running lanes for Utah State, especially off that left side, continue to be there. That's a gain of 23 for Tyler. Here comes the tempo. Already snapped. BYU players still on the field. Lega going to take a shot to the end zone. It is caught, and that's a touchdown for Cobbs. However, flag on the play.
BYU got caught with too many men on the field. That's going to be a touchdown for Utah State.
After the 23-yard game, here's the
Illegal
call.
Substitution, 12 on the field. Defense. That penalty decline. Result of the play was a touchdown.
That may be the most chaotic touchdown sequence I've seen. Tyler, 23 yards, ball barely got spotted. Lega takes the snap, gets it immediately to Cobbs. BYU not ready for the pace, and now the Aggies have the lead.
I mean, you can see BYU trying to substitute. They're not hustling off the field. The pace is quickening. Guys are tired because of how fast the pace is going. And what did we just talk about? Win your one-on-ones on the outside when we throw it. And Cobbs, the transfer from Maryland, does just that.
6 plays, 57 yards. We've got tempo. We've got an upset brewing. Our pets' heads are falling off. There's all kinds of stuff going on here at LaVell Edwards Stadium. And right now, Utah State has the lead. Our Week 4 Monday Night Football matchup, NFC West rivalry game between the Rams and 49ers, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app, Peyton and Eli. Also back on ESPN2. When you talk about the San Francisco 49ers and BYU, you talk about the great Steve Young. What great quarterback lineage they have here in Provo.
Unbelievable. The great Steve Young. He's in town. He's in town for his brother's daughter's wedding reception, I believe it was. He told me we were trying to get him to come over here to the box because there's nobody better than Steve Young. Nobody.
And with quarterback lineage for BYU, the next great one, Jaren Hall here for the Cougars. It's time to step up. BYU's got 56 total yards offense. And right now, Jaren 4 of 7, 72 yards and a 1 touchdown.
And what this is setting up for is for Jaren Hall to basically have to take this game over. Because, look, I just don't see BYU being able to run against this defensive front with the way they play. So he now is going to be on front and center stage. Now the passing game, they have the wide receivers. And he can spin the ball as good as anyone. We're just going to see now how much he can take on himself and get his team going.
Empty backfield now for Hall. Going to throw on first down. It's complete. And a gain of 5. That's Braden Cosper on the catch. Let's go down to Harry.
Guys, there's a lot of calm on this BYU sideline. Jaren Hall was telling the offense while they were on the bench, hey, let's not worry about the pass, continue to make plays. We know what we're doing.
All right, for the first time tonight, Harry, thank you. That's Miles Davis, who last week against Wyoming, the second half star, 13 carries, and 131 yards. They found something in the former track star. I'm surprised this is the first time we're seeing him tonight.
Yeah, and what did Kalani Sitake tell us? We wanted him in there because he felt like they needed a spark. Well, if there's a night that they need a spark, they need it tonight as far as the running game is concerned. And they needed somebody who has speed, somebody who has shiftiness, who can get downhill quickly. And Miles Davis could provide just that.
First positive gain on a rush tonight for BYU. 3rd and 2. Hall out of the pocket. Quick throw. First down. That's Cosper again. Gervin Hall, the Miami transfer, forced him out.
And Braden Cosper had a nice game last week. I mentioned earlier his first career TD against Wyoming, a guy who's overcome injury that everybody is pulling for here in this deep wide receiver corps.
Hall again with time, looking to go downfield. Caught. What a great individual effort again by Cosper. 3 plays. How about Cosper? Adre Grayson brings him down.
But this is a nice throw by Jaren Hall, and an even better 50-50 ball win by Cosper. But just look him here, fight off the DB, keep his eyes on the football, make a tough catch, and hold on.
Hall intended for Keanu Hill. You know, Gunnar Romney said Cosper is the best route runner on the team, and he's been active on this possession as Cosper.
I mean, there's so many guys who have overcome adversity, overcome injuries on this football team who have stories similar to Cosper's. He's just another in the long line of them. And you're right. Gunnar was just, his eyes lit up when he was talking about Cosper. You see that with this football team a lot, guys pulling from one another and championing their competitiveness.
BYU quickly in Utah State territory. To the end zone, wide open. Touchdown BYU. No, they ruled it incomplete. Gunnar Romney couldn't hang on. Johnny Carter got beat. They even set off the fireworks here in the end zone. That was as good as automatic.
Yeah, I mean, this was a slot fade. I think Gunnar was lined up in the slot and just fades to the back pylon. You see him here. Comes down. Oh, he lost it right at the end. But it's a great route by him. They're on the far hash. They have plenty of space to run it to the field. That's usually the kind of ball he comes down with.
So after the incomplete, 3rd down.
False start. Offense, number 56. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
It's Clark Barrington, who he had wired up pregame. Moves the Cougars back 15 to 3rd and 15.
That left side of the offensive line between Clark Barrington and Blake Freeland. Look, these guys are both preseason All-Americans. They're both considered to be some of the best offensive linemen in the country. You see the C's on their shirts. They're both captains. I mean, those are the kind of mistakes. Those are the guys who you expect to not make these kind of mistakes here when you're down here in scoring territory.
So 5 yards back, Hall looking to run, and Utah State's defense continues to wreak havoc on Jaren Hall. A.J. Vongpachon there, and a loss of 6. Also 19, Ike Larson in on the play.
You just see the games that they're running inside. Byron Vaughn's running the twist coming inside. Vongpachon outside. I mean, they have a lot of athletes up front on this Utah State defense. They can rush with 4, and they have the athleticism to give Jaren Hall fits when he's trying to find some escape routes. And you saw it right there.
45-yard attempt, Jake Oldroyd on. Right down the middle. So Gunnar Romney drops the touchdown, and Oldroyd ties it up at 17 apiece as we check in with Kevin Connors in studio.
And Matt, coming up on the Twisted Tea Halftime Report, we'll get you set for another huge week in the SEC, or as they like to say, this week in the SEC, plus maybe the biggest game all year in the ACC, NC State and Clemson. And perfection on the line in the Pac-12 on a Friday night. All coming up when you join me, Sam Acho, and Coach Dan Mullen at the half. Matt?
The studio crews continue to be stars. Kevin Connors, thank you. All the producers, Steve Olling, Mike Diesenhoff, Chris Rivieto, they all try to get me to drop their name in the broadcast now. So I just did. But we have a tie ball game here, 17-all. A confidence booster perhaps there for Oldroyd. Admits his last 3 field goal attempts. There was some talk in town about whether or not they were going to make a kicking switch. Oldroyd comes up big, ties the game. What could have been there for Gunnar Romney and BYU with 2:32 left. Utah State gets the ball, 2 timeouts remaining.
You know, Kalani Sitake talks a lot about rhythm. Matt, he talked to us numerous different times and mentioned that word. I think that's really what's plagued them on offense. They haven't gotten into a rhythm. When they do, you see what they're capable of.
Terrell Vaughn returns the kick, just shy of the 20. Our featured ESPN Plus college football games for the weekend. The Red Raiders take on number 25, Kansas State, noon Eastern. Kansas State coming off the big win against Oklahoma. Texas Tech coming off the big win against Texas. Syracuse remains undefeated and will likely stay that way. And Eastern Washington at Florida. All of that on ESPN Plus. How did we get to week 5 of college football already?
It's flying by. That's why sometimes you just got to take a look out here at these mountains and look at this great scenery and take it all in and be present, because otherwise this season will be over in a snap.
Yeah, I'm not ready for Thanksgiving yet.
Me neither.
I'm ready for 1st and 10, ball shy of the 20 for Cooper Legas, who's had a remarkable first half. 2 timeouts remaining. Legas going to take a shot. He's got a receiver open and a big gain for the Aggies on 1st down. That is Brock Lane. You live by the run. It opens up a big play. Gain of 36 for Utah State.
See, that's the effect of the run game right there. You see the safety Talon Offer. He's staring in the backfield, looking at the play fake, and Brock Lane has passed him.
Another player downfield. Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty.
And it's not going to live. They threw that flag near the sideline at the 25. Chandler Dolphin, the illegal man downfield, and that's a big one for Utah State.
When you run RPOs, an offensive lineman, that's something, look, the defensive coordinators complain about all the time. These linemen getting down the field. It's given our safeties and our second-level defenders run reads, so they're coming up into the line of scrimmage, and then the quarterback pulls the football and then throws it. That's exactly what happened to Palfrey on that play, or Alfrey on that play. And that's why Brock Lane was so open.
In a tie ball game right now, you can't afford that penalty. And a quick throw to the boundary. Brian Cobb's on the reception. And that's Gabe Judy Lally. Forced him out of bounds.
What a great name. Gabe Judy Lally. And what a great looking athlete that he is out there on the corner at just over 6'2". About 190 pounds. I was watching him during warm-ups. They've got some athletes here in this BYU secondary. This is going to be a great battle if Utah State starts throwing it more and more.
Under 2 to play. Plenty of time. Legata Vaughn. Micah Harper brings him down. And no pass rush to speak of for Cooper Legas. He was able to sit back there, find the open guy to get a lot of that penalty yardage back.
You see, he was trying to take the shot down the right sideline, but Judy Lally did a nice job defending the double move, forcing the receiver out of bounds, had him under control. He had to come back here to the bottom of the screen. Nice job by the BYU secondary.
So 3rd and 3. 2 timeouts left for Utah State. Strike. Brian Cobbs moves the chain in a big completion for Legas. Gain of 10.
In a 3rd and short type of situation, Judy Lally playing a little bit too far off. Giving up too much cushion, has to drive too far to close the distance in order to make the tackle after the catch to prevent the 1st down.
Legas forced out of the pocket, keeps his eyes downfield, has a receiver open, and another great play by Cooper Legas. That's using any timeout, ball across midfield, and a gain of 24.
The tempo and the number of plays that Utah State has been able to clip off here, you're seeing the effect, Matt, it's having on the pass rush. People aren't able to get upfield. Secondary defenders, it's hard to defend this amount of grass for this long, for this number of plays. People starting to run open in the secondary. You see here, just look at the pass rush. It's a 3-man rush. You see, he's just able to make a quick move, buy some more time, get his shoulders square. And this is fine Vaughn coming across the field.
Again, 2 timeouts for the Aggies. Blake Anderson elected to waste it down rather than use a timeout. So 2nd and 10 after Lagat clocks it. Ball at the 40, BYU territory. And that intended for McGriff. Tyler Batty provided some pressure. McGriff was again shoved out of bounds. But he wouldn't want to touch it, so no penalty.
Blake Anderson was right on it, too. He was standing right there looking at it, and the referee was like, that was good, that was good.
I don't know that it was much different than the last time we saw it.
Right
Either way.
Tyler Batty getting some good pressure up the middle. That's exactly what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to make Cooper Lagat move, get off of his spot, but then the edge rushers have to keep him contained because he's a good athlete that can buy time, and as he has shown you, he's up for the challenge tonight. Remember, he's making his first start on the road, rivalry game. You get a holding.
Yeah, there's going to be a penalty flag, so this play is going to be all for naught. It was intended for Vaughn. Check that, Justin McGriff.
Holding. Offense, number 56. 10-yard penalty. And then 3rd down.
So again, they gave him the free down because instead of using one of the timeouts, they clocked it. Now it's going to be 3rd and 20 after Cole Moats.
You see Moats here going up against Nelson.
BYU
and he just loses him on the edge.
Be 4th down.
So Kalani's going to decline the penalty to make it 4th and 10. And BYU has all 3 timeouts remaining. If they were to get a stop here with that offense.
Look, they're a quick strike offense for sure. Let's see what Utah State has dialed up here.
So play clock at 10.
It is getting loud.
And Utah State's going to use one of those timeouts.
Utah State, 2nd charge of the half, 30 seconds.
You know, I'm not sure, Lewis, about that decision earlier in the drive when they hit the big pass.
When they clocked it on 1st down?
Rather than giving them a down, rather than using one of those timeouts, reset, you're not wasting it down. You can get back into the rhythm of the offense. Now it's 4th and 10. They use a timeout when they really got nothing out of the drive, depending on what they do here. But with 23 seconds left, if we were with Blake Anderson yesterday and said you'd be winning in every facet of this game and it's tied at 17 just before half, he'd take it as well.
Yeah, I think he's going to take his chances of punting this ball down in here. There's only 23 seconds left, to your point. See if you can pin them deep, pin them down inside the 20, and then take your chances against Jaren Hall not being able to produce enough explosives to put any more points on the board and go here into the half tie score.
Steven Katslani on to punt. Punts that into the end zone. So a positive drive going for Utah State. Not too sure about how they executed there at the end. Saturday night football game presented by Capital One and a top 10 matchup in the ACC. College game day going to be in the house. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit on the call. Number 5, Clemson. Number 10, NC State. It's a big one in the ACC. NC State able to get that one a year ago. They now travel to Death Valley. And Utah State and BYU looks as if they're going to go to the half tied at 17. Cougars just going to sit on it. The Cougars will receive the second half kickoff. And Lewis, that was an entertaining first half of football.
Look, I think considering what the spread was coming into this game and how heavily BYU was favored, if you're a Utah State Aggie, and if you're Blake Anderson, you have executed your game plan to a T. And if you're a fan of Utah State, you are happy with the way this is going.
246 total yards for Utah State, just 107 for BYU.
What'll be interesting to see is, again, if they can continue to keep Jaren Hall under wraps here in the second half.
Let's go down to Harry.
Coach, Cooper's first start since the LA Bowl. What did you like? What did you see out of him?
You know, didn't put the ball in harm's way. Calm, collected, which is what we expected. That's Coop. The dude never gets rattled. He's moved the ball with his feet really, really well. Just, to me, the poise. That's what we had to have in an environment like this. If he's rattled, everybody else is going to be rattled. He's been really calm.
Defensively, you've held this offense to just over 100 yards. What's working?
Man, just great effort. Guys are playing tight. We're playing gritty. We've gotten a couple lucky bounces. But, man, I feel like this group's been getting better every week, and they accepted a challenge. We knew we had to be fast. We had to run to the ball. We had to get up in people's faces, and they've done that good for a half.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you. Thanks.
That old wagon wheel's tied at 17 apiece between Utah State and BYU. Let's go to the Twisted Tea halftime report. Kevin Connors, Sam Ancho, Dan Mullen holding down the fort down in studio. All tied at 17 here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium in the battle for the old wagon wheel. And now let's take a look at tonight's game flow, brought to you by Progressive.
Yeah, Matt, it's all about the Utah State running game. 147 yards rushing. Quarterback Cooper Lagat leading in attempts with 12, but I tell you, it's about the running backs as well on these powers in these G-schemed runs, meaning there's pullers, whether it be the guards, whether it be an H-back coming across the formation, and the running backs have just been chewing it up. You just see here all night long, it's really been off of the left side of the Utah State offensive line. They have just been averaging, as a group, the running backs have been averaging over 5 yards a carry, and they have just been chewing up time of possession, as you see right there, almost 22 minutes to Utah State. This is the perfect game plan that they've executed, Matt, so far in this first half in order to maybe take this game deep into the fourth quarter, see if they can take it.
One of the stats you didn't see, Utah State 52 total plays, BYU just 19. Cougars will start with the ball. They won the coin toss, elected to defer, and then Jaren Hall and company will get the ball first. And there's going to be a nice field position there, starting at the 30 for BYU. Lewis Riddick, Matt Berry alongside. And Lewis, what's imperative to do now for BYU in the second half?
Well, I mean, you'd like to see them possess the ball a little bit, give their defense a little bit of a break. But look, I'm just going to tell you this. If you're Jaren Hall, you're trying to put the ball up in the air, and you're trying to make sure that you score points, because that's just going to be the name of the game. It's not about style points tonight. It's about scoring enough points to get out of this game alive, because right now, Utah State, they've shown they've come here to play, man, and they have the perfect game plan for it.
Coaching staff told us little by little, we're an inexperienced team. We've seen some good football lately, and we're seeing it here in the first half. So Jaren Hall, BYU, start at the 30. The give to Miles Davis to start the second half. This was a running back a year ago, or a week ago rather, that gave BYU a little bit of momentum in the second half. Let's go down to Harry.
Guys, I spoke with Kalani Sitake at the half. He said our defense has to help us out a little bit more so we can get rolling on offense. Offensively, he said, hey, we're staying calm. We just have to execute, make the easy plays, sustain drives, and we'll come out on top on this one.
Harry, thank you. Gain of 3 from Miles Davis. Let's see if he's got that same effect on BYU as he did a week ago against Wyoming. That's Davis again. This is what he did. Big play for Davis. And Lewis, negative 18 yards, negative 21 at the half. And right away in the third quarter, they said, we're going to run the ball to start.
Yeah, it's the speed component, right? You see the first one was an outside zone where he got the ball north and south. He's just kind of picking and sliding, and once he gets the shoulder square to the line of scrimmage, he hits it. This one, a little bit more of a jet sweep type of action. Get him on the edge quickly where he can use that track speed to see if he can get in some clear space.
Track star at Las Vegas High. Showing the speed there. Hall, quick throw, wide open player. Keanu Hill, who got the touchdown early. And Hill a nice gain on first down. And already BYU playing with confidence in a gain of 15.
And this is the kind of rhythm that Kalani Sitake is talking about. Where now Miles Davis comes into the game, gives them a boost because he's a different body type, a different makeup as far as the speed is concerned. The defense starts to honor the run game a little bit more. They get one-on-ones on the outside, and then this deep wide receiver core can go to work.
Perhaps the obvious question, if Davis is that big of an impact player, why not give him carries and start him in the first half? Neither here nor there. He's got the ball now, and he's running with a full head of steam and a gain of 8.
See, that's a good physical run as far as how he finished on safety Hunter Reynolds, who was coming downhill to make the tackle. That's the kind of thing that Miles Davis has to do. Look, he's 210-plus pounds, and you see him here. You see Hunter Reynolds, number 27. He's not really trying to square him up. He's just trying to get him on the ground.
Quick play there from Jaron Hall. Cody Epps made a man miss, and here comes BYU. Right out of the locker room, Michael Onwenu on the tackle. He was injured early, back in the game, and a gain of 16.
See, this is where you just know, you take some comfort in the fact that you know that number 3 is under center. And you know he's going to orchestrate it. He's going to keep everybody calm, and he's going to keep them right in this ball game.
Play fake to the end zone. Up, caught, and a touchdown right out of the gate for BYU. Ethan Erickson. How's that for coming out of the locker room? 6 plays, 70 yards.
You see Jaron Hall just specializes in these back shoulder jump ball throws. Just look where he puts this ball for Erickson, where he can go up high and just take it off of the deep. He said you see the height differential, the catch radius differential. That's a beautiful throw. That's a perfect throw from one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and that's how you answer coming out and starting fast in the second half.
Reminiscent of their opening drive of the game, it was quick. So the extra point is good. Fans not even back in their seats yet, but when they get there, they're going to be happy. Jaron Hall put the team on his back. They regain the lead, 24-17 early in the third quarter. Welcome back, LaVell Edwards Stadium. Let's take a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Student sections across the country are competing to be the Live Más student section of the year all season long. They were quiet for a lot of the first half because this game not going their way, but a quick drive by Jaron Hall in the offense gives BYU the lead again, 24-17. Lewis had said to open the second half that Hall needed to take over on that drive. 3 of 3, 45 yards and a touchdown. So now Cooper Lega, who had a nice first half, he and the Aggies will get the ball after a surprise onside kick for BYU, and that did not work in any way, shape, or kick. And that's going to be good field position for Utah State to start.
You see Kalani Sitake rolling the dice here, seeing if he can catch Utah State off guard, to see if he can go ahead and continue the momentum that he has right here. But this is a nice job by Utah State of being aware on the front line. I played that position before. You have to see the ball come off the kicker's foot before you retreat as a front line guy, and that's a nice job by Ike Larson of making sure he fields the ball securely. Now they got the ball 47-yard line.
And Lewis, game plan needs to stay the same for the Aggies here in the second half.
There's no reason to change it. There's no reason to change it. Continue to emphasize the power running game, the off-tackle running game, mix in the quarterback design runs. And then when you get the one-on-ones on the outside, take your shots.
Lega barely got that play off. That's Tyler up the middle. John Nelson on the tackle. Successful rushing half for Utah State. 153 yards on the ground. You see Tyler limping. He was hurt earlier in the game. Robert Briggs came in and had a nice first half as well. Lega pulls it, has a shot, takes a man downfield. There's Justin McGriff, who had an entertaining first half. There's that play fake, Caleb Hayes on the coverage. Here come the Aggies, gain of 30.
Now watching Justin McGriff specifically on that play, great release off the line of scrimmage, beat Caleb Hayes inside, was able to get on top of him. That's what we're talking about. Win the one-on-ones on the outside when you take your shots.
And then here they go right back down to the ground, Lewis, and this is exactly what they did in the first half. Run to set up the pass, so they can go right back down to the ground.
That's because when you're running it, you're having to commit extra defenders to the box because, look, if you're getting the ball run on you for an average of over 5 yards a carry, what do you think you're going to do? You're going to try and load the box a little bit. You can't stay in a too-high shell. And then you can take your shots when it's single safety middle, man covers on the outside.
Designed run there for Lega, who did that a handful of times there in the first half. And he brings that dimension. Again, if you're just joining us because you saw this game was close, Logan Bonner, the regular starting quarterback, out. Cooper Lega from nearby Orem knows this rivalry, loves this rivalry. His dad, a BYU guy. Here we go now. He's been playing well in this offense in his first start, and that is not going to go well. John Nelson, untouched, and a loss of 3.
This is just a nice job of Nelson getting off the line of scrimmage, executing a quick swim on the tackle, number 56, Moats, and you'll see it right here. He's gone immediately. That's how you get penetration. That's how you dictate to the offense at the line of scrimmage, and that's how you get TFLs, tackles for loss. Excellent job by Nelson in a critical down and distance situation.
So here come Connor Coles. He hit a 50-yard field goal earlier in the game, this one from 30. Utah State answers with points of their own. So how about that for a start to the second half? BYU a touchdown, Utah State answers with a field goal. Still Cougars up 24-20 here in the third. Back here at LaVell Edwards Stadium, Lewis Minnick, Matt Berry alongside. We had talked about how the BYU offense kind of sputtered in the first half. Lewis, on their first drive, third quarter, they've already got almost as many positive plays they did the entire first half.
And who was the spark? I think the spark was Miles Davis. And look, that's a good move by Kalani Sitake of inserting him into the game. The speed really does energize the offense overall. The offensive line's going, thanks. We like guys who can hit the hole quicker and get out on the edge faster. Look, I remember back in my college days, man, playing against teams like Notre Dame. They used to do this with Rocket Ismail when you played against Notre Dame. First half, they'd have Ricky Waters playing running back. Second half, they put Rocket back at tailback. It changed the total dynamic of their offense. That's what this reminds me of a little bit.
Rocket, still the greatest player to ever win a Heisman Trophy. Hobbs Nyberg,
speed,
ball at the 25.
Equalizes everything.
Man, is he good. This season, All-State will celebrate every field goal and extra point made by participating universities by making a donation to the university's General Scholarship Fund. Thank you, All-State. Throw Vince Young in there as well as one of the greatest players to never win a Heisman Trophy.
Talk about putting the team on his back. That guy, big number 10, could do that. And that's exactly what big number 3, not as big as Vince Young, but that's what he needs to do right now, too. Continue to assert his authority over this game by playing next level at the quarterback position.
Wouldn't you know it, it's Miles Davis back in the game off the left side. Aggies figure it out on first down, led by Patrick Joyner.
Teams run these outside zones where they're all just zone blocking. You see them moving laterally. The thing that kills that kind of running scheme is penetration. And that is exactly what Ephraim Banda preaches to his defensive linemen. Knock them back, create penetration. You'll kill all those zone runs.
No gain on first down. Hall looks downfield. Has to keep it. Everybody covered. And a gain of 1 forced out by Vongpachan.
That's a win for Utah State's defense. If you cover them up in the back end, make the quarterback hold the ball, pump the ball 1, 2, 3 times, take off, and then just have a nothing gain. But those are the kind of wins that you need. It's not always about sacks. It's just a good, solid, fundamental down for Utah State's defense.
Time over the middle of the field. It is tipped and caught. That was not intended for Gunnar Romney, but they'll take it. 17 yards after Braden Cosper tipped it. And that's just good fortune there for Gunnar Romney playing back tonight after injury.
Yeah, you see Jaron Hall, he led Braden Cosford a little bit too much against that zone coverage, was about to lead him right into a defender. Ball tips off him, and hey, if you're Gunnar Romney, say, hey, look, I'll take whatever I can get.
So Utah State looked as if they were going to get BYU off the field. The tipped pass gives them a first down, moving the chains, and a little bit of momentum here at the 42. End around. Romney. Short game.
So I don't know how much you want to go lateral against this defense. There's a lot of team speed out there for Utah State. Their defensive line can run. Their safeties can fill like crazy in a hurry. The linebackers have good speed. You've got to hit this team downhill. They have a lot of athletes that if you want to play that lateral game, they'll play that all day long. Then you got to get Miles Davis going again, north and south, as far as the run game is concerned.
Hall on the play fake, wide open receiver. That's Cody Epps. And a good job by Jaron Hall. Pulled it from Miles Davis. Epps sitting there in the soft spot at a gain of 27.
That had to be a coverage bust. There was nobody walked out to cover down on him and get any kind of reroute. He just ran basically a kind of a quasi-double move, went to the post, and then just broke it back off outside. There was no one around him within 5 to 8 yards. That's easy. That's like 7-on-7. You can't give Jaron Hall those kind of windows to throw the football into. Otherwise, that's exactly what you're going to get. Completions.
Also, time to throw on that one. No pass rush to speak of. And before the play starts, first flag of the second half.
False start. Offense, number 71, 5-yard penalty. Means first down.
Blake Freeland, the left tackle.
I mean, you can just see here, you see Cody Epps. There's no one near him. No reroute at the line of scrimmage. It's just a nice, easy throw and catch for Jaron Hall. You cannot allow these receivers to get down the field uncontested and or be able to match them down the field in your zone coverage, meaning you start off playing zone, but you have to match them up down the field. They're too good of route runners and runners after the catch.
Utah State showing pressure. It's Epps again. Epps makes a man miss and brings it inside the 10. Onwenu missed the tackle, gain of 26, and this a big drive for Cody Epps. Second consecutive big play for him.
Here again, you see him just playing the bail type of technique by Onwenu. Eyes on the quarterback. Now you just got to come downhill and tackle. You missed the tackle, it's a big game.
Here comes the tempo. Why not finish the drive? Cody Epps. Touchdown BYU. On the drive, Epps 27 yards, 26 yards, and then the 8-yard touchdown to extend the Cougars' lead.
You know, obviously Cody Epps is one of those guys who has that quick, short area movement ability that you just need to get the ball in his hands quickly, because in the open field, it's 50-50 if you're going to get him on the ground. Maybe it's even 20-80 that you're going to get him on the ground. He's just got too much skill as a ball carrier after the catch.
So stuck in the mud in the first half. How about BYU to start the second half? 2 possessions, 2 touchdowns. It was all Epps. BYU leads 31-20.
Who you think gon' win? If it's us versus them, who you think gon' win?
It was all the Cody Epps show in the last scoring drive. The former first-team USA Today All-American coming out of high school, he showed why he was. If you don't want to cover him up in zone coverage and let him just find the zone voids, he'll go ahead and take the pitch and catch. You want to play off of him, outside leverage and man-to-man coverage and not tackle, he's going to show you how he can run with the football after the catch. Here, it's just a matter of Gervin Hall not coming down on him in a cover zeros type of situation, closing the gap quicker down there inside the red area, because if you leave too much grass, this young man has electric run after the catch skills. And obviously, offensive coordinator Aaron Roderick said, let's just go ahead and feature number 0. Jaron, go to work. And they sure did.
And we featured Jaron in the pregame show, and we featured him just to start the third quarter. You had said it needs to be his game, and so far here, in the second half, third quarter. He's done that. 7 of 7, 123 yards and 2 touchdowns to start the third quarter. And now you look at his numbers, 14 of 19, 251 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's what stars do. They didn't look great in the first half, but he's just done enough to extend their lead.
I mean, he's just heated up quickly. And just remember, their most productive receiver, Puka Nacua, is not even playing in this game. Gunnar Romney, he's kind of been quiet. They haven't really unlocked him yet in this game either. They have a deep wide receiver core. And when Jaren Hall gets hot, the results can be spectacular for this offense.
You'd mentioned Puka Nacua played high school ball with Cooper Lega, a rivalry he knows well. Terrell Vaughn on the end around, and BYU's defense a good job to contain him. Micah Harper after a gain of 4.
If a team's going to try and run off tackle, you got to make them go sideways if you're going to bounce it out to the perimeter, or if they try to kick out on your edge force guys, set a hard edge and then come downhill and force it. They did a nice job on the last play, not so good there.
That's Calvin Tyler. And a first down, Utah State. Look, they moved the ball in their first possession of the second half. Then Utah State settled for a field goal. They can't afford to get in the shootout if they're just going to score field goals.
Look, if BYU wants to take it to the next level as a team, they have got to figure out this run game issue, this run defense issue. Whether it be scheme, whether it be technique and assignments and consistency, whether it be the personnel, they have got to figure this out.
It's Tyler again. You mentioned figuring it out. They don't do it there on first down. Another big play for Calvin Tyler Jr. He's been playing a little limpy tonight, but he's playing hard. That's Alfrey on the tackle after a gain of 14. Here comes the tempo for Utah State.
You see, they're able to pin the D lineman inside, and then they block out on the perimeter force players. You see right there, tight end John Sturzer, a nice block on the edge. Josh Sturzer, excuse me. And then when they're able to get that alley and the running back is able to get downhill out there near the numbers, the secondary players are going, come on, man. You expect us to make all these tackles? But this is what they're doing over and over again.
Alfrey came up and missed the tackle. Briggs now spells Tyler on first down. A gain of 3. Antanusa Mahe on the tackle.
Here comes the tempo. Just keep your foot on the gas. But if you're going to chew up this kind of clock and take this kind of strategy, it has to result in points when you get down here inside the red area.
Missed tackle there, but a nice job by BYU coming in to get Briggs. Max Tooley, the initial miss, still a loss of 1.
Well, you see, they were able to bounce the ball laterally, bounce it outside, allow the secondary support players to come downhill. And there was safety Ethan Slade. Came downhill and made the tackle, gets a TFL. That's how you do it right there. But it's a matter of doing it consistently. And when you get tired and the team starts tempoing you, that's when mistakes are made and they pop a big one.
With how BYU's offense is played to start the second half, this is a big third down for Utah State. Lega time, swings it out of the backfield. Briggs tries to make a couple-man miss to no avail. And it's going to be a fourth down for the Aggies.
That's a perfect job by Peyton Wilgar of staying outside, standing his ground, good body position, and then just waiting for help to come. And then Ben Bywater comes and cleans it up. Number 2, that's good team defense right there. Now, if you're Kalani Sitake, you're going, why can't we do that consistently? That's what we need. They're capable of doing it. It's just the consistency of it.
Cottonley on the punt. And that was a miss hit on the punt. And so you had mentioned it. This is very reminiscent of what we saw last week against Wyoming. First half, BYU not executing, and here they are to start the third quarter. 2 touchdowns on 2 possessions. Miles Davis playing running back, Jaren Hall in a groove, and now the defense starting to find its feet.
I think if you're Utah State, you have to challenge these wide receivers. You cannot give them space, because as they're showing you, they will make you miss and embarrass you in the open field. They're going to get a lot of yards after the catch. You have to get up on the line and challenge them. You have to get penetration and get Jaren Hall rattled if that's possible. But you cannot sit back and give these guys space to catch and run.
Ball spotted at the 15. Hall going to take a shot right away. He's feeling it. And that incomplete. Keanu Hill had it and then dropped it. Andre Grayson on the coverage. Let's check in with Harry.
Guys, after that last Cody Epps touchdown, he was sitting next to Keanu Hill on the bench who said, hey guys, they can't guard us. They feel like they've got them figured out right now.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a nice job by Andre Grayson of guarding him. He played it perfectly. In that kind of situation, again, you're trailing the wide receiver, you're not in phase with him, play the eyes and the hands, and then just rip through the pocket, get the PBU. Perfect technique.
Play fake to Christopher Brooks. The pressure was on. That forced Hall to make a quick throw. Byron Vaughn provided the pressure, and it falls incomplete, intended for Braden Cosper.
Now you see how the PBU sets up the scenario where on second down you get a good pass rush by Byron Vaughn. Jaren Hall's not able to make an accurate throw. Now you got him where you have a chance. It's a 3rd and long situation. Now the question is, do you pressure? Do you play zone? Do you play a 2-man type of situation? This is the chess match here.
That to Chris Jackson. We expected to see this speedster tonight, and Jackson hit hard at the sideline. Gervin Hall there to lay the hit. Chris Jackson, a player they wanted to get some touches. That's the first one we've seen out of him tonight.
Yeah, you see how he can threaten the perimeter and just outrun pursuit angles, but man, Gervin Hall closed like a locomotive and pow on the sideline. That's exactly what you want out of your safeties. They have to be erasers. And Gervin Hall and Hunter Reynolds.
To review for a possible targeting.
So they're going to look at that play by Gervin Hall to see if he was targeting.
I got so excited by the hit and the way he closed, I didn't pay attention enough to whether or not the contact was illegal.
It was quick.
But I'll tell you this. That's how you close as a free safety. As someone who played that position, you have to make up the ground and you have to deliver big hits. You just have to deliver big, clean hits. Let's take a look at it. Oh, yeah. That's right on the side of the head. Head goes down, right in the ear hole. Yeah, I'm afraid this might be targeting.
Our rules analyst, Matt Austin, here tonight. Matt?
Yeah, Lewis, I think you nailed it. He does lower his head. He does make forcible contact right into the side of the helmet, as you said. This does check all the boxes. This is going to be targeting.
You know, here's the only issue I have with that, right? The runner, you see at the end, as he's trying to brace for contact, you see his head go down as well. But, yeah, I mean, look, I get it. The defender does lower his head on contact.
Yeah, and the Utah State fans are going to be all over this one because early in the game, it looks like Max Tooley could have been.
Oh, yeah, they definitely missed it. They definitely missed that call. We were right on it. They missed the call.
Led to a pick six, a play later from Tooley. But here, Gervin Hall and Matt Austin, who's with us tonight. Hall didn't even attempt to use his arms on the tackle. That was,
you know what,
head from start to finish.
Let me tell you, I'm just going to give this to you from someone who's been in that exact scenario. I don't know how many countless number of times. When you're coming from that distance and you're trying to prevent a first down.
After further review, replay found a foul targeted against defense number 6.
Yep.
The 15-yard penalty will be added to the run. Automatic first down. The targeting foul was due to contact with the crown of the helmet.
Lewis, finish that thought.
No, I'm not going to say it's not illegal because it is illegal. It is, and they're trying to get that out of the game. But I'm just telling you, from a physiological standpoint and from a mental standpoint, you're thinking, I just got to put a big hit on this guy and get him out of bounds. I got to make sure he doesn't gain any more positive yardage. And sometimes that's your natural reaction. And I'll tell you, look, it's tough playing defense nowadays. It just is. But I understand why we're legislating those hits out of the game, and that is targeting by the letter of the law. There's no question about it. And it's unfortunate because he is a key player for them in Ephraim Bonda's defense.
So Ike Larson now going to step in for Gervin Hall, the former 4-star, committed to Miami, played at Miami. They brought him here to Utah State. He's out of the game now for targeting, and that moves the chains for BYU. And after a clean third quarter, those flags are out and about now.
Snap infraction, number 70 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
That's Connor Pay.
Well, I'll tell you this. Talking about Utah State's defense and defensive coordinator Ephraim Bonda, who I believe really impressed all of us when we talked to him in terms of his knowledge of the game, his passion for recruiting. And the safety position is his baby. That's the position that he coaches, and he loves the group that he has in the secondary. He loves the way they play the game.
Epps motion to the top of the screen. What a play that was, but there's going to be a flag on the play. That Isaac Rex, and my guess, Lewis, they're going to get him for a pick.
Yeah, it's going to be called on Keanu Hill, who's going to come in and kind of block in the back. Illegal pick, block in the back, offensive pass, whatever you want to call it.
It was almost too pretty for it to be executed cleanly, but there's a number of flags on the field.
Yeah, it's going to be on Keanu Hill.
And I don't know if there was a late hit on the quarterback. I think there's going to be a couple infractions here, Lewis. You know, just when we had a little pace. Flag, flag, flag.
Yeah, penalties can make the game seem really choppy.
It was ruled on field. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage. Therefore, there is no foul for pass interference. Personal foul. Roughing the passer for the low hit. Defense, number 11. That 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the run. By rule, automatic first down.
So Byron Vaughn's late hit on Jaron Hall. Low.
So he got Vaughn Bachan on the side, but yeah, I see where the personal foul is on the quarterback. I was still looking at Keanu Hill on the block and whether or not it was a legal block if he had hit him in the back, but he got him right on the side.
So the call was, since the ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage by Rex, Hill's block right.
It's not pass interference as long as it's a legal block. And he didn't
Matt
hit him
Austin,
in the back.
does Blake Anderson have an argument here?
Well, Lewis is right. The only thing they could have called on that block was possibly a blindside block, because he did come in and hit the man in space. So that could be part of the argument. The hit on the quarterback, he did appear to go low. You could question it whether it wasn't at the knee or a little bit higher. It's a safety factor, so I'm good with the low hit call.
Jaron Hall got caught in a very strange position with his legs spread. Just glad he got out of it without any kind of injury.
And Anderson's been going at the officials all night for a number of reasons. And I don't know that he doesn't have a good point there on that block from Hill. Either way, first down BYU, another big penalty. That's off the left side. There goes Christopher Brooks with space. And so, Lewis, you have a couple of big penalties and now a big run for Brooks, the transfer from Cal, who they've expected big things out of in a gain of 11.
You see how much different their running game looks when it's downhill, Matt, when it's coming north and south and not going too lateral where they can use their speed on the Utah State defense. You block it up right, guys like Brooks and Miles Davis, they can exploit creases in a hurry with the short area acceleration that they have. It's a nice play call by OC Aaron Roderick.
Motion and a fake. Hall going to take a shot. Incomplete, intended for Isaac Rex. Good play design there. All for naught, overthrows the tight end.
Yeah, the pass rush makes Jaron Hall just fade a little bit. Not able to get more on that football, not to put too much air on it because he had Isaac Rex. But you see here, he just kind of throws it off his back foot, although we've seen him make that throw numerous times. He can get that ball a little bit flatter and get it up and down quicker. That's a touchdown.
That's Hill in motion. They're going to give the ball to Keanu. He's going to throw it. Back to Jaron Hall. Hall has a convoy and knocked out of bounds at the 15. That was a great job by the Utah State defense because he had a wave of blockers in front of him.
It's a nice reaction in terms of pursuit. You're going to see here, wide receiver throwback, you're going to see Jaron Hall, a little bit better of a throw, and he's down the sideline, and it's a touchdown. But you see the pursuit.
And now Katoa up the middle on 3rd and 4. Fans reacted to what they thought was a late hit, another one on Hall, but not called. First down, tackled by Ike Larson. So under a minute here in the 3rd quarter. And Lewis, you get the sense BYU's got Utah State on the ropes here.
Yeah, they do. They're trying to exploit the matchups on the outside. You see they got Gunnar Romney here in the slot. He's going to have a one-on-one matchup.
They go with Katoa off the left side. Utah State there. Vong Pachan on the tackle.
If Utah State is going to play some kind of zero coverage or middle of the field coverage and leave these guys one-on-one, one of these wide receivers is going to get loose. Jaron Hall is just an absolute sniper down here as far as putting the ball in places, the back shoulder throws. He's a master at them.
So that'll do it for the 3rd quarter. An explosion by BYU's offense as they play for that old wagon wheel for the 91st time. BYU 2 in a row in this series. They've got a dominating lead, 31-20. Jaron Hall showing up under the bright lights. 4th quarter coming up for LaVell Edwards Stadium after this. Start of the 4th quarter, BYU up 31-20. The offense has all of a sudden caught fire here at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Fire knife for traditional Samoan culture. They are feeling it here at LaVell Edwards Stadium. Jaron Hall in the offense looking to punch one in to start the 4th, and that's going to go absolutely nowhere. Intended for Isaac Rex.
Jaron Hall's pass complete to number 83, Isaac Rex. Tackled by number 20.
Kaleo Nevis on the tackle.
So that's one of those calls that make me scratch my head a little bit. Why are you running a pick route for Isaac Rex in terms of his ability to run after the catch? You got so many guys that are dynamic with the ball in their hands. If you want to throw the football to Isaac Rex, just put him down the middle of the field. He's huge, got a great catch radius, great hands.
Flag.
False start. Offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty. Man's 3rd down.
So now really you have 2 bad plays in a row. You have poor execution, questionable play call, and then you have a false start. For a team as good as this is, in terms of its experience on the offensive line, experience at the perimeter positions, experience at quarterback, versatility at running back, those are the kind of things that Kalani Sitake's just sitting there going, come on now, we're better than that.
That's their 8th penalty on the night. Hall to throw, taking a shot at the end zone. And a nice job by Utah State, overthrown, intended for Epps. That was Larson on the coverage, and so the Aggies minimize the damage as BYU's going to have to attempt a field goal.
Yeah, questionable play calls, you have penalties, and then right here, this is just nice execution on the part of Ike Larson, making sure that he closes the gap, keeps good tight coverage. Jaron Hall just doesn't have enough room to fit that 7 route in there.
33-yard attempt for Oldroyd. Made one from 45 earlier. And he misses. No good. So Utah State keeps it a 2-score game. And a missed field goal and a little bit of hope and momentum for the Aggies. See if they can't get that offense and get Cooper Lega.
Yeah, I mean, that changes the dynamic dramatically. It really does. And the penalties, the play call, the lack of execution. Now it's going to be up to Utah State to take advantage of this. Stick to what you're doing. Continue to try and take your shots down the field. See if you can get a big one. So I don't know if you're just going to continue to drive the length of the field over and over. BYU has done a nice job of adjusting its perimeter run defense, and looks like they started to find some answers.
Remember what I said about Oldroyd struggled on this season. He was 4 of 7 coming in. They talked about perhaps a kicking change, but they stuck with him. And right now, they're not getting fooled at all by the quarterback run, especially John Nelson there to throw down Cooper Lega.
That's just a nice job by John Nelson of coming up underneath both pullers and still making the TFL. That's as good a play as you can make from a defensive lineman. Taking on pullers, coming underneath, having the athleticism to get the quarterback on the ground.
Toss sweep to Nai Davis. Look at that defensive play. That was absolute textbook by Gabe Judy Lally.
That's what we were talking about. They're starting to kind of get a little bit more comfortable defending this perimeter run game. And Gabe Judy Lally, who I love his name, I said it earlier, that's how you put the hammer on him when you're coming up on the edge as a corner and supporting the run. That's how you do it, young man. That's how you send a message that, hey, we're kind of on to what you're doing.
They're going to look at that one for targeting as well.
To review the play for a possible targeting.
And I had just taken another look. You could just tell by the way the contact was made. And we'll get an opinion here when we get a replay. As Christian Watson heads over. So we're going to go to break, but Lewis, I want you to take a look at the play prior to break, and we'll weigh in on the other side. All right, here comes the verdict on the targeting call on Gabe Judy Lally. They stopped play to review. It was not called on the field. Here's the verdict.
After further review, replay found a foul for targeting against BYU number 11 for forcible contact with the crown of the helmet. That 15-yard penalty was forced from the previous spot. By rule, automatic first down. Number 11 of BYU is disqualified from the game.
It's a tough situation. Look, I think for defenders, look, you have to lower your target point. You're just going to have to take shots down near the knees, because it's almost impossible to hit with force and keep your head back to the point where it doesn't have any kind of now the crown of your helmet won't hit. I think that's why you see so many defenders tackling low now, going for the knees.
Defenders, no problem tackling there. Keenan Peely grabs Tyler for a short gain, but you're right, Lewis. Everything set up there for Judy Lally to make a good play.
Yep.
But you saw the offensive player lowered his head.
Yep.
Judy Lally got in there and it was targeted. Now he's out.
Tackles are just going to have to go lower and lower, and you're just going to run the risk of ball carriers getting their knees taken out. Like that.
Talon Alfrey again.
That's a nice open field tackle, Matt.
Tonight, yep.
That's a nice tackle. That's a good job of secondary players who are primary field players, guys who are running the alley, coming from the deep part of the field to support the run, of making a good, solid open field tackle.
Cool.
Now, the quicker and quicker they start doing that, Matt, I didn't mean to cut you off, but the quicker and quicker you start doing that, the more you address your corners, and maybe now you take a shot in the passing game down the field.
Cooper Lega had all kinds of running success in the first half. Not the case here. 3rd and 7. Keep it on the ground, and Tyler got most of the yardage, but he's still going to be short of the first down. Micah Harper brings him down.
That's great pursuit by Micah Harper, coming from the opposite side, because that play was about to bounce out of there.
So they're going forward on 4th, down 31-20 to start the 4th. Lega's going to be stopped. He got walled up at the line of scrimmage, and it was Tyler Batty, who's had himself a good night, is going to send the Aggies offense off the field.
Being in that huddle defensively, usually you're talking to your brother saying, look, somebody's got to come up with the play. It's like, that's great technique by Batty. You see how he got his hips down, shoulder square, 2 hands on the blocker, sheds him and makes the play. Textbook defensive line play, textbook.
So Blake Anderson trying to get something going. It's still a 2-score game, but BYU's defense steps up. Cougars ball after this. Sunday NFL Countdown crew has you covered for Week 4, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific. The Monday Night Countdown crew gets you set for Rams-Niners, 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, both on ESPN and the app. Steve Young and a good lineage of NFL players that have come out of here at BYU. Our next great quarterback, Jaren Hall, having a nice night. That's Miles Davis off the left side. Johnny Carter brings him down after 5.
Miles Davis has changed the whole complexion of this run game. Eventually, at some point, he's going to have to start off the game. I don't know if Kalani Sitake likes him as the change of pace, and I get it. Trust me, I get it. I'm not being critical. I'm just saying he's changed the complexion of the run game
2 weeks in a row.
You just wonder if maybe you inject that into your offense a little bit earlier now.
32 yards rushing for Davis. Everyone else, 1 yard. And wouldn't you look at this? Davis moves the chains.
That's a perfect example. You see how quickly he hit that? He took 2 steps and he saw the crease and he was gone. That's that track speed that you're talking about. Just watch this. Watch this. Shuffle, gone. I'm north and south in a hurry. I see the crease and I'm gone. Not everybody can do that. Everybody wants to do that, but not everybody can. That's the difference he brings. Right there was the perfect example.
You mentioned a track star, Las Vegas High, came to BYU in 2020 as a receiver, converted to running back. And Jaren Hall said from the get-go they knew he was something special just because of the speed. Vong Pachan brings him down.
But he doesn't play like a track guy, meaning he's just a finesse guy.
Yeah, track guys don't like that.
Yeah, typically, but this kid plays with physicality.
Little hobbled there, goes off to the sidelines. Christopher Brooks comes in. And that's Brooks off the left side, weaving his way through. Vong Pachan again on the tackle.
Tackled by number 10, A.J. Vong Pachan.
Saw Davis come limping off. In the 10, it looked like Lewis made that initial hop.
Yeah, it looks like something that was the non-contact looking type of thing, which always gives you cause for pause and makes you start worrying a little bit. But we won't speculate. But he's had a nice night so far.
That's Brooks again, and they're just going right up the middle on Utah State. 3rd tackle in a row for Vong Pachan.
This is what you expect this offensive line to do. On these inside zones, you expect them to just get tremendous push, drive their legs. They're huge up front. Huge. And you just want the running backs to be very decisive as far as identifying the crease. And look, a guy like Christopher Brooks goes 230 pounds. So he's no small runner. He doesn't have the speed of Miles Davis, but he is a load to bring down now.
You like Suamatai at the right tackle. This is off the left side. That's Christopher Brooks, and that could keep the wagon wheel here in Provo. 18-yard touchdown by the transfer from Cal. And what you saw there, Lewis Riddick, is run to win. Now an extra point away from 38-20.
That's exactly what you're looking for. Good blocking out on the perimeter. You see him just secure the edge. You see the tandem block. Get a hit on the perimeter edge player and then get upfield, climb upfield. You secure the edge, and then after that, Christopher Brooks just takes over. Get those big shoulders square. Defensive backs don't want none of that at this time of the night. That's a good physical drive right there by BYU.
A good physical block by Lane Hunt. Sprung Brooks for the touchdown. So now the rushing game starting to work. Now BYU starting to field it. Christopher Brooks makes it 38-20. BYU in the 4th. And now let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Chick-fil-A. Georgia and Alabama remain 1 and 2 in the country. Big one this week. Number 5, Clemson hosting NC State. 7:30 Eastern, ABC.
Boy, that Clemson offense heated up last week against Wake, didn't it? DJ Uyunglele said, hey, you're not going to pull me out of here yet. You're not going to put the hotshot freshman in here yet, man. I'm going to get hot. And I'll tell you what, the national rankings, as far as all the different ways you can break down quarterback play, he has climbed near the top of the rankings, man. And he has really, really taken off here the first quarter of the season now.
Big Senko slinging it. Ole Miss, Kentucky, also a good one. Baylor, Oklahoma State, another good one. But you mentioned DJ Uyunglele, 5 touchdown passes a week ago. Had to get in a shootout with Sam Hartman, who set a record 6 touchdown passes in his own right. But if DJ can come like that every week with that defense.
I mean, look, the defense has some pass rushers and have some people that can turn over the football. What Clemson needs is for that secondary to just kind of find a way. Look, they got caught in the buzzsaw because Wake's wide receivers really had a day last week. But that's the part of the defense they're going to have to shore up. DJ just needs to continue to play with the kind of confidence, decision-making that he's playing with right now. Because that's exactly what Dabo Swinney wants out of him.
Have to imagine Tim Beck, offensive coordinator for NC State, Devin Leary, quarterback, watched that Wake Forest game a week ago, understanding there's an opportunity to make some plays. Utah State down 18, 38-20. That Terrell Vaughn. And Lewis, as we look at BYU now for the second consecutive week, first half, this didn't take anything away from Utah State. They played hard in the first half. They still continue to play hard. But when you look at BYU's schedule the next couple of weeks, they've got Notre Dame next week in Las Vegas, neutral site game. And then Arkansas comes here to LaVell Edwards Stadium. And those slow starts that we've seen that's not going to cut it against Notre Dame, and it's certainly not going to cut it against Arkansas.
Well, look, Kalani told us, look, he's tried to even change up the practice routine to come out, hit the ground running so players aren't mulling around and just trying to ease into practice, because he wanted to change their mentality. Well, it didn't work tonight. They had to step on the gas in the second half again. But they're going to have to switch that. You're absolutely right.
Incomplete. Terrell Vaughn, the intended receiver. George Udo on the coverage. Cooper Legas had the guy, underthrew him just a bit.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You see, Udo stutters his feet, gets caught flat-footed, and Vaughn just runs right by him. A better throw, and that's a big play. I mean, that's the razor's edge that big plays are on in the game of football. A lot of times, you're going to look at that play, the DB's going to get credit with a PBU, but really the wide receiver did his job. The quarterback's just got to put that out there.
Talk about who comes down with more than 50-50 balls. That's Hobbs Nyberg at his own 20. Good special teams there by the Aggies. A 12-yard return. Byron Vaughn's on the tackle. This BYU offensive line finally started to assert themselves here in the third quarter and now the fourth. The physical group up front. Kalani Sitake said the nasty is about to come out. Prior to the game, we mic'd up Clark Barrington.
Yeah, man, just big chilling over here with the boys.
Hey, how's your rash doing? Is it okay? Is it better?
Oh man, all these guys playing games, man. Let's go, baby. Keep doing your thing, Keep running all over. Let's go, baby. Do your thing.
Who has more fun than the offensive lineman?
Yeah, they ask about the kind of things that, you would expect them to ask about, man. They're a unique group, man, tightly knit group. Every team I've been on, the offensive linemen are all the same. All the same. All hang out together, all talk about the weirdest stuff you could possibly think of. And there you see two of the best ones in the country in Barrington and Freeland. And they're going to need them to play some of their best football as they move into some of the bigger heavyweights in terms of the opponents that they're going to go up against. There's a lot of scouts here watching this football team, and a lot of them have their eyes on Freeland and Barrington, along with obviously the quarterback. They're going to have to play their very best.
Christopher Brooks has been the running back with a little bit of fire under him in the second half. Hunter Reynolds brings him down 34 yards on the carry. 77 yards for the night for Brooks. He scored the touchdown.
Just watch Clark Barrington on this play. Watch him pull and watch him get the seal that really springs this run. You see it right there. That's all you need to do. Get your hat on the right side of the block. And then the runner's out the gate. Well, he didn't necessarily pull. I'm just talking more about the angle that he took and the block that he makes. That's exactly what you're expecting out of these two preseason All-Americans in Freeland and Barrington. They have to take over football games down the stretch here as they get into the meat of their schedule. Because without them,
see what happens. You wire them up, you get a key block, you get a big run. Thanks to the BYU sports information staff, so good allowing our crews to mic up Barrington pregame to give you fans the access. So Utah State a little gassed. Early in the game, Lewis, we had talked about BYU and their struggles on the ground. Now they're over 100 yards. And kind of, it's will time.
Yeah, I mean.
All right, so we're going to step aside here as Utah State took their first time out of the half. BYU salt and clock when we come back. Lewis, how about that for a second half difference from BYU on the ground?
Yeah, I think ideally, from a philosophical standpoint, that may be how they want it. Look, we're going to throw to get the lead, and then in the second half, we'll let our big offensive line take over and let our running backs take over.
Christopher Brooks has certainly taken over in the second half. Miles Davis will not return. Called it precautionary after we saw him limp off the field. Daniel Greshik on the tackle.
I really like Christopher Brooks. Look at that body type. Just look how he's put together now. I mean, he is rocked up, 6'1", 230 pounds. In the fourth quarter, do you really think you want any of that?
No.
As a defender?
Not
when he starts getting his, yeah, exactly. When he gets his shoulders square, it starts coming down. You don't. I've been there. It's not pretty. You don't want that. And that's exactly what they're using him for here to close out this game.
Transfer from Cal, a player this coaching staff has talked about numerous times about how Christopher Brooks can be the guy that can salt away a game. You
see that right there?
Yeah, but you talk about not wanting any piece of that. Here's what I wouldn't have wanted any piece of is Utah State takes their second time out. I wouldn't want any piece of this back September 2nd, 1987. Look at
them big Panthers.
What's 5? Look at 5.
Get on. I'm hyped too, man. I'm hyped. Look at how ugly the uniform. Look how young I look. Look at those shoulder pads. Look at all the tape, the forearm pads. I'm just telling you, uniform technology back then was gross. It was. I mean, that's gross right there. It really is. But I'll tell you what. I love my Pitt Panthers. I love my school. That was a good time out here. My eyes were just as big as saucers, man.
Did they not have a training room at Pitt back then?
I'm telling you, 18 years old, don't know anything.
Look at your spat. Look at the fingers. Look at the fingers all taped up.
That's old school, baby. That's Jack Tatum, Ronnie Lott, Kenny Easley. Those are the good old days. That's so long. That's 30 plus years ago, man. Do you know how old young? That's a good time, though. It hasn't changed much around here either.
It's your first game,
It really hasn't. That's my very first college game ever.
Yeah.
Very first one. God, I look so skinny. You see how skinny my neck look and those big shoulder pads?
No muscle snacks for you.
Oh, that's good. That's good video right there. I haven't seen that in a long time.
All right, that's timeout to time out while they're BYU discuss. Let's go to Scott Van Pelt.
Damian Woody enjoying a chuckle in the studio at Lewis's kit there. Coming up on SportsCenter, Dolphins and Bengals open up Week 4 in the National Football League. Bengals get the victory. A lot of concern about the health of Tua Tagovailoa, stretchered off in that one. We'll have an update on his condition, those highlights as well. We'll get back to you, Matt and Lewis.
Scotty, thank you. Just bad intentions. This is the portion of the program, too, where someone might earn $1 here on College Football Final. Those kids are safe. That guy's not. My man's rocking a bolo. Timestamp that for Saturday in the wee hours of the morning. Bolo tie, $1. So 4th down for BYU. 4th and 3. That's Gunnar Romney on the reception. Hey, nice job by the Aggies. You know, Gunnar dropped that touchdown in the
runner was real short of the run of the game. First down, Utah State.
Gunnar dropped the touchdown in the second, had the big play of the first play of the game. But in his return, 4 catches and 51 yards. You know, we want to help people affected by Hurricane Ian. Donate at redcross.org/ESPN to help the Red Cross prepare for, respond to, and help people recover from this disaster. You saw what it did, some of the videos going around social media in Fort Myers Beach. Made its way up through Central Florida, Orlando, went back out to the Atlantic, formed into another hurricane as it approached Charleston, South Carolina. So our thoughts and prayers. Do what you can, give what you can.
Absolutely.
As that storm over the past 24 hours has wreaked havoc. That nearly intercepted by Micah Harper. So I touched on BYU's schedule. Notre Dame next week, Las Vegas, followed by Arkansas. What you've seen tonight, Lewis, kind of assess BYU. They're ranked 19th. They're going to move to 4-1 on the season.
Yeah, I think on the defensive side, well, number one, they need to start faster, period. Okay, they just have to start faster, period. Whether you're on defense, you need to get a 3 and out, get the ball back to your offense. If you're on offense, establish a rhythm quickly, put the ball in the end zone first drive. They have the ability to do that.
That's picked off. Could we have a second defensive score from BYU? Ben Bywater.
Micah Harper sitting there and thinking, I should have had my pick on the play before, and I just dropped it. You're going to see Bywater, you're going to see him here inside. They're just going to rush 3, drop 8. They know they have to throw the football. That's a lot of bodies, a lot of traffic in there for a young quarterback to try and sift through and find a throwing lane. All you see is blue everywhere. Nice job by Bywater of just reading the quarterback's eyes, breaking, making the catch. Those drop 8 coverages, when you're only rushing with 3, quarterbacks hate that. I remember watching an interview with Jaron Hall, and they asked him, would you rather be blitzed, or would you rather sit back and have to throw the football against drop 8? And he said, oh, I take the blitz all day long. Those coverages wear me out. And that's what they've resulted in a lot of times.
3rd turnover on the night for the Aggies. They're going to dial up a reverse here. I can't imagine that makes Utah State too happy. Chris Jackson. The Aggies do a nice job stopping it. Once Kaleo Nevis on the tackle.
Yeah, you know,
we're kind of at that point in a rivalry game where you just...
Yeah, I think, you know what, right now, it'd be a steady diet of number 2. Christopher Brooks would just be getting plenty of carries. Let this offensive line get their hand down, play with pad level, and just come off the ball and establish. Look, you asked me, what do they need to do? This offensive line needs to be able to, when they want to, impose their will on people. Because ultimately, that's what determines championship-level football play. Offensive and defensive line physicality.
There's Brooks, and you're talking about the physicality. I know there's probably a portion of the viewership that's hoping BYU scores one more time for them. I mentioned the BYU schedule. And look,
Utah State will take their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Utah State banging their final timeout. You can talk about cliches and everything's in front of you, but for BYU it applies. Here they are 3-1. Notre Dame, Arkansas. You get through that 2-game stretch at 5-1. You know, Liberty, Hugh Freeze, and they'll throw the ball on it. East Carolina, Holt Nailers, but that schedule sets up for them, Lewis, after the next 2 weeks.
It does. Those are two litmus tests right there. I don't, regardless of what you feel about Notre Dame right now and where they're at in their program build under Marcus Freeman, those are going to be 2 tough games. 2 tough games. And the offensive line and the defensive line, I think those are the 2 areas where, if I'm Kalani Sitake, I'm going offensive line. We've got 2 preseason All-Americans on all of these offensive line award watch lists preseason. You guys have to take over the game. And we have enough backs to be able to pound people when we need to. And they have to figure out how to stop this perimeter run game that teams have shown is a weakness of theirs when it comes to defending it.
All right, so Aaron Roderick dials up a pass on 3rd and 8 with Utah State out of timeouts. Maybe to get some more kicking work in here for BYU.
Yeah, this is a situation again. Number 2 would have saw the ball being handed off in his gut over and over again. And I would have said, offensive lineman, come off the ball, and let's just close out this game. Simple as that.
11 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown for Brooks. By far and away the leading rusher for BYU. So 35-yard attempt for Oldroyd. He missed earlier, made earlier. And he missed this one. And look, and that's another thing BYU is going to have to shore up for the next 2 weeks. They got in Justin Smith late in the game last week. When they needed it, Kalani said, look, we had to try something else because Oldroyd came in struggling. We've seen him make the one, but he's also missed 2 tonight.
Yeah. These are the kind of things, as the competition stiffens and becomes better, those are the kind of things that'll cost you. We all know that. We're not reinventing football here saying that. But yeah, Kalani still has some work to do. Now they have some extra time to work on these things now, playing on Thursday. They have some extra days to get healthy, work on some situations. But it's always better to work on those situations while you're racking up W's, that's for sure. And that's the one thing, knowing him, he's going to emphasize. The sky's not falling here. We won this game. We know what our strengths are. But let's make sure we work on our weaknesses. Otherwise, better teams will exploit them for sure.
You know, he said something interesting. I could have sat and talked with both of these head coaches candidly for hours. It's one of the favorite parts of my job, getting some time with these head coaches to kind of see how they think and their beliefs and how they build their program. And I thought Kalani said something interesting, that it's not his players' jobs to win games. It's his job, the head coach. And he said, look, it's not their job to win. It's my job to win the game, put them in a position, and let them understand the process with which it takes to win a football game.
Yeah, that way he keeps it simple. He keeps them not looking at the scoreboard. He keeps them just focusing on the things that they've taught them. And look, that process-oriented approach is something I think Nick Saban popularized, and everyone has taken it and run with it because it makes sense. Oh, that's a vicious hit. And a low hit.
And it could have been an interception. I'm watching the play down back at the quarterback. That was picked off by George Udo. And there's going to be a flag on that. I mean, that was a heat-seeking hit.
Yes, it was.
By Jacob Boren.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. The low hit. Defense. Number 20. The 15-yard penalty is the first in the previous spot. And by rule, automatic first down.
So you don't want to go low at the quarterback. I mean, he's outside the pocket. See, this is the situation that defenders find themselves in as far as where do you hit them, where can you hit them, and when.
I'm curious, Matt Austin, our rules official, because you're like,
all the targeting penalties that have been called in this game, I promise you the BYU defenders are very cognizant of that. You see he's purposely trying to go at thigh level. He's not trying to hit him in the knees. He's trying to hit him right above thigh level.
Yeah,
Matt, what do you think?
I think that's the question that the fans are having. That hit looks like you could consider it at the thigh. It's supposed to be at the knee or below, but as Lewis, as you said, this is a safety factor. You go that low, you take a risk of taking a guy's knee out. If he's got his foot on the ground, I have no problem with the call at all.
I would not want to be a defender or a defensive coordinator having to teach your players.
It's tough, man. I mean, this game moves very fast. Pad levels change very quickly. Your target points change very quickly. You have to be like a sniper as a tackler. You really do. Otherwise, you run the risk, if you're not perfect, of either getting a 15-yard penalty or getting thrown out of the game.
The guy going to take off. Tackled on the play by Kavika Gagne. You know, Boren, he's in there late in the game. Salt Lake City kid getting an opportunity to play in the football game, trying to make a play.
Of course.
And defensively, it's tough.
It is.
Safety a priority right now in all of football, college especially. Again, it's Gagne's second consecutive tackle. Utah State, no timeouts left.
Should have a holding penalty there.
Crowd saw it. Officials didn't throw it. Laga connects. Bourne on the tackle and a gain of 15. Calvin Tyler on the reception. Everybody's just a little bit restless now. Kicked off at 6 local time, 9:37 here local, 11:37 out east. Laga's got a man in the end zone, and again he underthrows him. Justin McGriff had his man beat. And that falls incomplete. It's Evan Johnson on the coverage.
Just got to let that ball go a little bit sooner. Throw it to the back pylon. We've seen Justin McGriff, we saw him score on that exact kind of route combination a week ago against UNLV. He's been quiet all night long. They have not been able to get the ball to him. I'm sure it's one of the things they'll go back and look at. How can we get number 10 more involved in the passing game, because he is a matchup problem.
Again, Laga's got a receiver. This time he connects, and that's Brian Cobbs for the touchdown. So no quit in Utah State, 27 yards. And Laga, who got the start tonight after Logan Bonner was ruled out. Nice pass here to Cobbs.
That's a nice route by Cobbs as far as stuttering on that little, looked like he's just going to run like a kind of a semi-slant and then just takes it vertical, gets the defender to stutter his feet, and then he's able to gain separation and get vertical. Nice throw by Laga. That's nice deceptive route running on the part of Brian Cobbs.
So BYU getting some reps in for some of their younger defensive guys as Utah State's going to go for 2 with Levi Williams.
BYU will take their second charge time out of the half. 30 seconds.
All right, BYU going to use a timeout here. Next UFC Fight Night Saturday from the Apex in Las Vegas. Prelims start at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific, followed by the main card at 7 Eastern on ESPN Plus. To get it, go to ESPNplus.com or download the ESPN app. That's probably $1. Can't decide yet.
I just love the youth. I love the enthusiasm, the carefree attitude, having a good time at a game on a Thursday night.
Yeah, just not caring, wearing a swim cap.
Absolutely.
Goggles.
Nice weather. Your football team's winning.
Life preservers.
Got some big games coming up here in Provo in a couple weeks.
So 2-point conversion to make it a 10-point game. He's going to throw it. Opts against it. BYU there. That was Terrell Vaughn. So the onside kick going to be on the way. BYU's just going to have to bang a couple of knees to move to 4-1 on this season.
I think if you're BYU, yeah, this is a nice opportunity to get some young guys some reps. You never know how far into your depth pool that you're going to have to go, depending upon, look, football's a tough game, man. You can never forecast injuries. You never know when you're going to get hit at a certain position, and young guys are going to have to play. So that's a nice job by Kalani Sitake of getting some of his young guys out here, letting them play in front of the crowd on Thursday night, get their feet wet.
Which, by the way, in the era of the transfer portal, you got to keep guys engaged.
Of course.
Look, and I know it's a blow. You got to keep guys excited to play football.
Because when you don't, what happens? They start looking to go other places because now it's so easy for them to be mobile. So I remember we talked to Graham Harrell about that, right? About the wide receiver position in particular. It's hard to keep good wide receivers on a team, especially if they're not getting enough touches. They see that the game is a passing game. They see how much, wide receivers are getting attention in the NFL, how much they're getting paid. They want their day.
Michael Harper's going to put this thing away. And that's what, to go back to Jaron Hall, kind of the story of the game for us. They had credited him. I mean, he got beat out. He had to wait his turn behind Zach Wilson. Another player may have left.
Yeah,
waited his turn.
You know what? In talking to him, he never thought about it. He said, you know what, I'm just going to continue doing my work, looking for the reasons why maybe I didn't win the job and what I need to do to continue to get better. Like, he was playing baseball during that time when he's battling with Zach Wilson in those 2 years. And then he got hurt the second year that he battled with him. But look, the coaching staff said it was nip and tuck now. He was right there with him, which if you're looking at that from a top-down perspective, you're going, just how good can Jaren Hall be by the end of this year, as good as he's playing right now? And what does that mean for his prospects in the NFL? I can tell you this, NFL scouts are all over him, man. They're watching him with an eagle eye. And tonight he came out and did exactly what he needed to do in that second half. He took this game over, and he put some distance between Brigham Young and Utah State. It's exactly like he's supposed to, man. I can't wait to watch him as we go down the rest of the schedule.
So up next for Kalani Sitake and BYU, they're going to head to Las Vegas to take on Notre Dame. And a big second half out of Jaren Hall keeps the old wagon wheel here in Provo for a third consecutive year. Good fight out of Utah State. They're young, they're inexperienced, they're down players. They gave BYU a run in the first half. Had it tied at 17-all. For Lewis Riddick, I'm Matt Berry and Harry Lyles. Once again, final score. BYU 38, Utah State 26. Coming up next, SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt.